Hello and welcome back to the NLC Div 2. We are here for week 3. We are kicking it off. It is the third week of games. We've had quite a few games already and we've started to settle in what the teams feel like. Temporal, I feel like we've got to know them decently. There's been some changes, there's been some upsets, there's been some consistent teams coming back for round 2 since spring split to summer split. But Temporal, obviously this is your first day back on the broadcast for Div 2. You've been up to Div 1, now you're back here, you're with us once again, the treasured home of some interesting gameplay, I would say. But how are you feeling to be back?
Absolutely home. Lovely to be back, and yeah, a good time, an exciting set. We're starting to develop, the table a little bit. We've got a top 1 by some margin. Well done,
Yes.
Unique
Yes.
Esports Club, looking good over there. Everyone else, 1 or 2 wins. Not a whole lot else going on. There is a bit of a disparity in games played, so we'll see who catches up where there. So we shouldn't draw too many conclusions, but yeah, everyone else waiting to get some momentum going. Unique, just smashing through people at the moment.
Yeah, most team played 4, a couple have played 5, but the majority still sticking to that 4 mark. Admittedly, Lazy and Life have only played 3, so as you said, a little bit of disparity between those, but very close across the board, to be honest. And I feel like that has been represented in the games, not only in the score lines. I feel like we've had a lot of very, very succinct games. Cleanliness of macro has definitely been a little bit of a talking point in some of the earlier stages. I think that week 1, it was all hectic, all fighting. Week 2, it calmed down a little bit, but there was still a lot of glimpses of those kind of rash moments. And we're going into game 1 today, right? We've seen 42, we've seen Rich Gang, 2 teams that have had some pretty good moments, but they're not winning completely, right? We've seen Rich Gang look very strong against Garden Gaming, very strong against Lazy and Life, but they fumbled to Rusa, which was an unexpected loss.
Yeah, it doesn't really line up with how the table's gonna end. And we normally expect, like, 1 or 2 wins or losses to just float in through, like you mentioned, the cleanness of execution not being the absolute optimal that it could be at any one time. Over a split, it does tend to leach out. Just going over the scoreboards, and we had a bit of a discussion that I think sort of highlights my big takeaway here. It's not really enough right now to just pick a big late game piece. We're all lamenting that somehow Jinx having an atrocious win rate so far. And it just doesn't seem enough to be able to throw your hopes and dreams to the late game. Seems like many of the teams at the top of the table, Lazy in Life with 3 games, 2 wins, Unique Esports, will just smash people nice and quickly.
Yeah, well, we'll have a look to see how these 2 teams played out, right? 42 versus Rich Gang is our first game of the day. We have 3 games for you guys at home on the NLC Div 2, so make sure you stay tuned, make sure you're comfortable, because we got a whole set to come through. But 42, I feel like 42 have been one of the more interesting teams to watch, I'll be honest. I've really enjoyed watching them play League of Legends. They are quite scrappy, they are down to fight, but I will say they've lost a couple of games where it's gone a little bit too messy, right? Lazy in Life and Chaos basically embody the word chaos, both of them. They love an early fight, they love to scrap it out, and like, I always call back to me and Middlecourt casting that game of 42. It was crazy, right? It was literally just fights all and all. I'm so glad Middlecourt was with me, because you needed 2 play-by-plays for the amount of fighting that was in that game.
It's a lot. I'm quickly going through 42 scoreboards, just refresh my memory from what I've seen. And I'm not surprised to see Influentic locking in the Theory and like some crazy bits swapping out with JJ as well. And it seems they've approached each game slightly differently. The only line through here is they take some form of long range engage, and that doesn't always work out. But where it has worked out, they've been able to convert into the game.
Okay, well, I believe we are in draft. Let's get this one underway. As I said a little bit earlier, and you kind of alluded to it on stream, the Jinx, I'm not looking forward to seeing it, right? We've seen teams play it. It's not worked out. 42 is actually one of the teams that it was played against. They played a Felios. It seemed to do a lot more. So I don't know if Jinx is maybe overrated. Maybe we're not playing it the best. Maybe it's not a Div 2 classic, not like the old Senna of last season.
Though. It should be. It's such ease of execution, so much power drawn into the hands of a single player. Normally in Div 2 that goes a long way. I think the statement's good so far. The Aphelios counter into it, and it was Mikkel's Jinx as well. So a player who really can bust out the Jinx and the Xayah really well.
So the big takeaways here, though, for Div 2, I feel like Tristana, Corki, Pway as well has had a lot of play time. That's been like our top of the range picks at the moment. A little bit of K'Sante here and there as well. So there have been some staples that we've seen quite often. Coming out from these two teams, though, what am I expecting, right? Jinx has been played 3 times by Rich Gang, so it is still on the board. There is still potential. When we did do an interview, I don't remember exactly who the interview was with, actually. But they were talking, I asked them about the Jinx, why it's not working, and they were saying maybe there's just a lack of enchanters. So maybe it's that we're just not protecting the Jinx enough. A lot of engaged supports were coming through. So maybe we'll see a bit of a switch up if they do decide to lock that one in. But at the moment, there's still a lot of picks on the board, right? Tristana, Corki, they're both up. Corki locked in. No surprise here.
And unlike some tier 1 leagues that have moved away from her, Talia still open and pretty heavily contested from what I can see. She's normally drawing bans or indeed picks. Rich Gang have been a bit fruitier than the rest of the league with their top lane picks. We've seen Jax's, we've seen Vayne from Typical as well. Wouldn't be surprised to sort of draw that into the draft with some earlier picks. And a Tristana setup keeps you flexible. Does get chunked out by the Corki later on, but does just fine earlier. Odd to see the Ezreal locked so early. That's sort of conceding the bot lane, but should allow Rich Gang a better 3 and 4. Let's see if they execute on that.
And I'm interested they locked in both Tristana and Ezreal, right? They didn't want to play the flex game.
It breaks your own
own
flex, yeah.
We're happy just to lock in the Ezreal. I don't love breaking the flex away.
Let's see if Typical plays the Tristana. That might still be 2 ways.
Ooh. Okay, maybe. But about me, if they're going to lock in the Maokai, again, something the 42 have played. I feel like 42 have looked really strong, especially when they got their main roster back in. I think JJ looked phenomenal in their first game that they played. They were piloting the Corki, so definitely a staple for them, giving some comfort towards the team. And I like the Kaisar as well, right? I said it before, I wanted to see Chrissy on more aggressive picks, right? We've seen them on the Ezreal. Yes, it was good, but it wasn't the level where they could just carry the game. And I think the Kaisar gives them that a little bit extra.
It was a big risk locking in Ezreal, that you leave a lot of power on the table in exchange for that evasion. It's not like his damage is low, it's just not going to be something like the Kaiser or the Corki itself. Bans coming through, wouldn't mind seeing a Nautilus away from 42. I think it lines up their composition quite nicely, and you're going for like the 2022 Evergreen Maokai Nautilus and a boatload of damage behind it, which is pretty easy to execute. And it would mean that brand that wouldn't be able to be picked out. Pyke fills a similar role here. We're looking to isolate our damage from big sources like the Kaiser, like the Corki, and pick someone out of position to unload on.
Yeah, and I do wonder what Rich Gang would have go for, because they obviously get the counter pick on the top side, right? Like, they're able to kind of work their way through this draft a little bit better. They've got the jungle, they've got the ADC, they've got the mid, but they still need a lot of engage options, right? Like, there's still a lot missing coming that they need to bring up from that support, right? So things like the Nautilus, I guess, could be potentially contested between these two teams, but obviously with the Ezreal, maybe you want to take something that is better on a roam, right? Because also you have so much security in the lane.
Yeah, Karma to push it out would go quite nicely, something like that. Something that allows you to give the Ezreal some time on its own where it's not directly under threat is a pretty good time. I'm just trying to think through, because I did see, what did I see the other day? It wasn't Ezreal Karma, it was Ezreal. Like, Brand is pretty decent down there as well. And maybe this is all 4D chess and it's actually Brand bot, you know, Ezreal mid, Tristana top. I doubt it though. I think that Ezreal probably wants to be left on his own out of a duo. Zac take away from Virtuoso, and then the Leona, which would have allowed some pretty powerful roams to come through and would weaken the Evergreen Nautilus here that should come through for 42. The K'Sante lock-in's fine, it's fine, but this does allow 42 something a little stronger, and if they flex the Maokai up, it can be made into a winning matchup with an aggressive jungle.
I don't like the K'Sante pickup here, right? As in, not against the champion. Not against the champion, just the timing of when they picked it. I think they could have left it till 5, locked in a support, and then had their better chance, but now Camille being locked in here, that's a dangerous lane for the K'Sante later on in those stages. And yes, he's a big tank. Yes, he's dangerous.
To be more dangerous. It's not actually as cool as something like the Maokai right now. Without Divine Sundra, she cannot chew through Mirai, through Typical's health bar on this K'Sante quite so fast. And the K'Sante can actually overwhelm this lane. It's a bit of a risk.
Okay, well, maybe it is going to work out. Right now, though, the Nautilus been picked up. As you said, you've mentioned it a few times, this Maokai Nautilus. It was one of my favorite decks in Runeterra, you know, so maybe it's going to come through to fruition in the game as well, as we are going to see the Rel being hovered. I was thinking about the Rel a little bit earlier. I think I like it a lot. It goes well. It's a lot of engage. The only thing is it going to give you a lot of opportunity to roam, right? Because realistically, you're not going to be getting the big 2v2s in this Ezreal lane, right?
Ezreal into Kaiser is a bit of an issue for the Ezreal. Kaiser sort of counters his evasion in such a beautiful way where she can engage from long range and teleport herself on top of you. So even if you arcane shift away, you're still in range. And I would be worried for Mirai going later on here, especially if he is left on his own, because there is the Nautilus to blow your arcane shift and a Kaiser to apply a lot of pressure under turret and be a stronger carry as the game goes on in sort of a direct and indirect manner. If you go AP, you don't even have to fight. The Ezreal can't fight back. And if you do go full DPS, you get to spike on the Ezreal at a really nice time that makes it difficult. If anyone's able to kill the Cassante, then we do see a line through. If 42 overcommit, the brand will turn their own aggression back on them.
Yeah, now this is not surprising from Rich Gang. I'll be honest. If this was week 1, I would have been like, what the hell? You know, because I was, right? Rich Gang in week 1 drafted 3 ADCs of Brandon and Nautilus. So they are used to playing not normal comps, right? Like they are used to some different stuff. But I'm not going to lie, I'm not the biggest fan of this comp, right? Okay, yes, they have a lot of poke coming out from the Brand and the Ezreal. But then you have the Tristana and the Cassante, and it's almost like you're wanting to do 2 different things, right? Like Tristana, Cassante, they go in, the Rel can go in as well, right? You got 3 people going forwards, 2 people stepping back. I guess that could sort out a team fight, but it just feels like it's a little bit like, okay, theoretically, when I separate it down to that, it sounds good, but with those actual components, it's not going to flow how they would want a front-to-back team fight.
If they manage to catch 5 and Brandel over the top, fantastic, you've earned it. Till then, shouldn't be a guarantee that you're just going to wombo combo your opponents. This is kind of a problem with the Ezreal early flex. It's like that's seen as neutral, but actually it's pigeonholed them slightly into a maybe worse composition. If they do carry through with the Brand, if he's able to not get hooked and blown up immediately, Azonia's isn't something this champion wants. I think the optimal build, when I've done some maths, is Blackfire Death Cap. Zonia's does mean you don't die, but Death Cap means you kill everyone.
Well, we'll see what they decide to build. We're going to throw it into game. Let's get onto the Rift. Let's get on to game 1. 42 taking on Rich Gang. And both these teams are trying to set themselves into winning ways. 2-2 is their scoreline. And this time, they're finally going to be able to separate themselves in that table, that big mashup of 2-2 teams. Who will come out on top as we get some visuals? I think we're going to go back to the Duck. We've seen the Duck and the Frog a lot recently in Temporal. And we've been talking about this Frog a lot. I've supposed that this Frog becomes Gromp. And then both Rev and Tibby have given me different reasons as to why maybe not.
I don't know. He's just cute. He's just a little guy. That's all he needs to be.
He's a little guy. He's a little guy, and it's nice that he's there. You know, the Dragonfly doesn't get much love though. You know, I feel like everyone talks about the Frog and the Duck.
True. Dragonfly, very, very underrated. I really enjoy the little guys on Summoner's Rift. All right, Tactical and Virtuoso staring each other off. Just checking that their emote button, their emote wheel bound properly. To
top lane probably gonna be top laning.
Yeah, they're gonna top lane. They're gonna top lane so hard, J-Real. They're gonna top lane.
Yeah, until we get one item, you said we're not really gonna be expecting too much. I am looking though at invades, right? Looking at invades, looking at roams. Kanski is the one I've really got my eye on, right? Because I just don't see a way where 42 lose the bot lane 2v2s. So unless we're seeing really big impact from Slice, oh no, you're going to get a lot of damage. Kanski is going to try and get aggressive with it, but the damage has already been done by Chrissy, and now the Ignite going down early as well. I don't know if I agree with that one, Temporal. And Mirai, yes, is doing quite a bit to Rexar, who will flash away. But I think overall, you know what, actually, with the Ignite going down from the Nautilus, maybe it was all even.
He's got black eyes. The other one had pink eyes. They're not the same. They're cousins.
They might
Very
evolve.
important in the lore. Not quite as important as this bot lane trade. Going aggressive here does favor 42. Sure, Kansuke got a pretty nice setup, and Chrissy did lose the barrier earlier on. However, Mirai is under more pressure in this lane. The Ezreal has more to do. So even though they lose a bit of the cooldown, it's a quarter of the way back already. Typical has got level 2 first. Top lane is continuing to top lane Virtuoso at a bit of a risk.
Yeah, big trade back. Virtuoso, to be fair, being a level down has done pretty well in that matchup, right?
Yeah.
Like to go even when you're a level down, I respect that a lot, but obviously not the ideal situation. Maybe gonna need a little bit of assistance, but as we can see, both junglers, they're not going anywhere in the top lane. They're both party
That's
down.
what teleport's for. Junglers, leave those top laners alone. Absolutely. The ward did spot Balmif there, so that's hence the little bit of confusion in the chickens as they moved around. Importantly, from Brand's point of view, you want the Maokai to be known for his first few levels on the map. Pre-level 4, Brand is invadable, even by the Maokai, and you just want to be safe at that one weak point that the champion has built into his kit.
Ooh, typical with the deep ward as well, going for that reset after pushing in the Camille. I like the proactive play coming out from Rich Gang, because I will say, I feel like this team, as always, are a team that plays on vibes, but I feel like sometimes vibes don't give you the wins that you want, and a couple of losses recently were a bit surprising, so it's interesting to see them go back to a bit more macro-heavy playstyle.
Yeah, you can't do it all on feel. It's not quite worth it. It's good to have some concrete evidence to build from, even if you are building the vibe on top of it.
And right now, Slice, I'm still pretty happy, right? Not being contested, able to get that first early clear, has so much information on where the Maokai is, so Balmif just not going to be creeping up anytime soon, and because of that, just quite happy to sit and farm. And if we talk about temporal, right, you said top lane's not going to really be a thing till one item. Bot lane, obviously, they're not going to be looking to scrap from Rich Gang. Rich Gang kind of just setting themselves up to slowly play the first, like, 20 minutes of the game.
It's a weird one for Ezreal into Kai'Sa, because the more you push on and try and extend any advantage you might get, the more you risk flipping back around. So there's this sort of delicate stage of, like, you want to not sit there and go even, but you can't commit too heavily. Balmif has moved up to the top side.
And Typical is quite close to their tower, but there's a lot of CC, and being forced further away isn't what they want to see. TP is coming up into that top side, and so is Slice, so a lot of damage is going down, but Typical not going to fall just yet. Balmif maybe going to commit, but has to be careful. Could just be trading their whole life here. Is willing to risk it. First blood going to go down. Karosh with the flash forward for Balmif, and will take the tree down. A trade jungler for mid laner. Oh no, sorry, jungler for top laner, sorry. And I feel like the kill on Tristana is worth a bit more.
Potentially, Karosh did also have to invest the flash and the teleport. So with typical teleporting back to lane, that's 2 TPs, 2 flashes. JJ was in lane slightly longer. Chrissy burning flash. Trying to get a little bit hyphy in this bottom lane. You do need to hold on to those summoner spells. It's not impossible for Kansuke to be able to apply pressure in this lane. It is more like 65-35 in Kai'Sa's favor. The Ezreal can always execute perfectly. Something that this champion really thrives on. Why the montage plays look so flashy is when you do manage to unload like mystic shot after mystic shot. So much damage.
Yeah, Slice now on the invade. Doing the good Brand things, you know? Getting aggressive, going for the steals, trying to just force those camps away and just out-farming Balmif, which should set them up for a little bit of success. And obviously, Karosh having so much priority in this lane, it's really allowing them to rotate. And talking about rotations, Rich Gang moving everyone to this first track.
Yeah, AP junglers getting onto dragons, really important. They want to be able to cycle through every camp on the map, and soon they'll do it.
Talking about getting onto Virtuto, is being dove all out from the Cassante. Difficult, trying to get as much damage as possible, will only just about force the flash. But Virtuto just not having fun in this early lane.
A little bit of XP down and has been maintained despite the kill over. Wasn't able to spend any time in the wave. While Balmif has pulled this, yeah, he's going to go uncontested. I did sort of hope that Slice had walked up here, and that would allow him to continue pathing to bot afterwards. We'll have to see where he ends up going. So this will be all 3 Void Grubs over. 242 gaming. Yeah, I think it's pretty good to get 3 Grubs on the first take now. Brand and most AP junglers with any splash damage do them so quickly and so easily. So taking that away just means they're not going to be able to apply loads of pressure on towers with this Tristan.
Yeah, trading it for the dragon as well. Infernal, I would argue, is worth the trade.
Pretty good.
Fair. Like, if you get one of the dragons, Infernal is the one you want, right? I think closely followed by maybe like a Hex tech. I feel like also Cloud in isolation can be quite nice. But yeah, I think taking those 3, it does secure you a little bit of stability going on into the later stages, which I I do think sorts you out nicely if you are 42. And obviously, there's no pressure early on to go for these big fights, right? They don't need to go and contest that first dragon. They already know there's a lot of pressure in the bot lane with both that and the mid lane being pushed in. So, you know what? Why not get this dragon? But I feel like moving a little bit forward, are you then expecting the kind of hands exchange of now, okay, Brand's going to go do the grubs and then we see 42 go for these dragons? Or is there a little bit more contention, a little bit more friction between the two teams? Simple.
I get the feeling there's going to be a play made before one of the setups. So AP junglers really want to be on objectives as they spawn. They want to continue their path. They're quite rigid because their strength they should be building for themselves to then swing in. They're not spending a lot of time in lanes. Like neither of these junglers have moved towards lanes really at all outside of Bounty if that once in the top side. You know, not in a planned way, not in anything but a drive through. With that in mind, I wouldn't mind seeing the Maokai with like a single spike of damage because he's got a lot of time where he's not going to be engaged with his opponents. It is not going to be sort of solo frontline. And even when he is, something like the Leandries on its own goes a long way. It is a very out of date build, but I think with the new setup and the new way that item works, it'll help him get through the jungle a bunch quicker as well. So we'll see if he picks that one up.
And I'm good about. I think we are going to be going back into game in a second, but we talk about AP junglers a lot. What happened to Lilia? I feel like Lilia just disappeared. I don't know if I missed like a nerf or something towards Lilia, but I feel like Lilia was like the pinnacle of jungling and then disappeared. And now Brand still remains. Talia's still popular, but Lilia's kind of just gone.
I think her being so short ranged and will always be gated by how good flash Q Zhonya's or Q flash Zhonya's, depending on how fast you feel your fingers are, will get you. I just don't think it's good enough right now. There's so many teams. Like if we look down both of these team comps, even if you flash forwards, you're probably not getting all 3 melee members on 42 or half of Rich Gang in any Q flash forwards. It's not going to get you all 5 people. People are unlikely to group for that team fight. And the power of the pick's somewhat reduced because of it.
Yeah, maybe left for the solo queue specialist. But right now, one thing that is definitely not staying in solo queue alone is this Tristana pushing around these towers. Garrosh, I feel like has had a lot of tempo, a lot of control in this lane overall. Interested to see if they can start utilizing it to kind of move around the map, or if maybe we see Rich Gang put a bit of pressure in that mid lane to try and free up that Tristana.
Yeah, both of them have sat there for a long time, and it's sort of boring in a way that neither has given more than that one plate over to Garrosh. Like both of them really want to delete the wave, get onto those plates, push forwards, and maybe bring their jungler up as well. The junglers both a little hesitant to come out, sort of their fixed pathing and their immediate strength for themselves. So neither plate really falling. It's been a little bit of a nothing burger. You know, the kill was nice from the top side as Garrosh comes forwards. That's the return damage we look for. But otherwise, not a lot has happened yet.
Yeah, you say yeah, because right now in the bot lane, it is kicking off. Prissy getting a bit aggressive with it, but Mirai able to stay alive as now here comes Balmeef. The barrier is going to buy a little bit more time, but the snipe comes in, and the ADC is down, but it is 1-for-1 so far, but Kansi getting the kill means it is a better trade for 42.
Yeah, just that extra second, Mirai popped his barrier just at the right time, and Balmeef, I think he tried to delay his Bramble Smash to get in under it, but he still went a little too soon. That disconnection plus the CC from Kansuke, enough to fell the jungler of 42 Gaming. Maokai will still be pretty happy. He is heading towards that sort of short damage burst that he will have from the Leandries. And he's going to be happy getting some gold in his pocket.
Yeah, talk about who's not happy though. I feel like Vertuso, do you know what? Actually, maybe they're not too dishappy, right? Like they do have the same farm as typical, so they're not going to be upset about that.
They're holding on. They're holding
rough
on.
laning phase.
Yeah.
You know?
It's on the Camille to be able to sort of spike in and offer that sort of different setup for a team.
Talking about different setup, now Rich Gang are the ones that are 3 versus 2, and Slice is doing so much damage. Rexat trying to get out of there, but with Garrosh jumping as well. Oh no, Temporal. They're going to get the kill, but it's the support again.
Kansuke just does all of the damage. That's what we should be taking away from this. Cursey should be fine. Kansuke not going to commit the flash. And yeah, it's the different things these picks offer their teams. Rexat still vulnerable, just as the Rel is on the other side, but Balmeef at numbers disadvantage shouldn't be able to get in on this play.
Yeah, I don't really understand how they're...
What?
Why are you going for this? You don't need to go for this play, but I mean, dropping down Nature's Grasp and okay, yeah, it allows Chrissy to get a little bit of farming here, but I feel like I'm very overzealous for a play that was never going to be made.
Slightly odd for Mirai and Kansuke to immediately push that as well. I'd probably invite Rexat and Chrissy back out into the lane now. They might commit the depth charge. They might accidentally push some minions, and any trade damage you do will stick before they base right now. They're going to lose this extra minion wave under tower. Bit odd to stay and fight.
Yeah, a few decisions being made. That's not the game though. This is what I was saying to Temporal. I feel like in week 2, everyone chilled out a lot, right?
I think this would have been close.
Yeah, week 1, we're talking 10-10 on the kill score.
I know.
You know? Like, okay, maybe not as crazy as that, but it would at least been like
10-10 at 10. It worked.
Yeah, it would have been something like of a closer nature than what we have right now. I feel like everyone's kind of chilled out. They've gone for their macro, which, you know what, I don't dislike. It's just slower, you know. And right now we are going to get that 4th glove stolen away by Balmir. He is going to be able to pick that one up and walk away. So a buff 442 has been obtained, and they haven't had to give up dragon control either. So I do wonder if now they do go for the big play. Do they 5v5 around that dragon, or just try and bring numbers to secure it?
I think with JJ getting priority here, we should see Balmif coming across, Rexat up as well. They will be able to set up on this objective unless they hesitate much longer.
They are indecisive about it, so this might invite a little bit of time for Slice to get down there. Karosh also now pushing in this wave, could gain control. I feel like 42 is hesitating here, is giving over a lot, but in the spot lane, as you said, they are starting to make a play. Mirai now could be in danger, but dishing out a lot of damage to themselves. True Shot Barrage lands, and a Mythic Shot might be all it needs to take them down, but they've already managed to pick up one. Chrissy will find the return kill, but no jungler now available for 42, and here comes Slice. TP coming in as well. JJ not hit by the damage, but it doesn't matter. Karosh now in the fight. Can they take out Chrissy? That's one, but will it be two? Karosh now trying to turn this one back around. Rexat trying to get away rather than just fighting, and JJ not available to do enough damage.
All right, bloody fight in the bottom lane, and it kind of shows off the weakness and strength of some of these picks. Even though the Ezreal got so much damage onto Kaiser, a few unforced errors and unfortunate positionings from Chrissy. 8 the ultimate, 8 an empowered Mystic Shot. Rich Gang will convert the objective in the meantime. They shouldn't be contested on this, with Brand being the surviving jungler and doing a mean amount of damage at this stage in the game. Brand almost went down for a second there. Slice was picked out and became the focus for a moment. That really did look a little scary. He'll complete his Leandries here, so he's in a good spot. That sign of things to come.
Yeah, definitely some nice prowess shown from Rich Gang. Still composed in these fights that don't necessarily look so good for them, but 42 not really finishing off with the guillotine, not super clean cut in some of these decisions, and I feel like a little bit of hesitation is starting to hurt them, but it's still early doors, Temporal, right? 13 minutes in, only 500 gold between these two teams. It's still very close.
The risk for Rich Gang is that as more money gets traded up between 42 and Rich Gang, it becomes easier and easier for Kaiser to dominate that 1 versus 1. It'll start to get real ugly real soon. An isolated Q from her. Doesn't need to be aimed, not a skill shot. And will start to chunk Mirai a lot more than these empowered shots will do onto the Kaiser. So we'll keep an eye, but the volatility going up in the bottom lane right now. So right bottom lane moved to mid lane, shall we say.
Yeah, and I'm interested. I like the roaming gank squad of Balmif and Rexat, but obviously they do need a bit of damage to go with that one. As in the top side, talking about damage, Virtuzo is taking a lot. Will be able to hook shot out though, because Camille is that champion, but they're not going to get away for long. As Kansky is there, the team are roaming up. Slice going to join at the vicinity as well, and again Temporal Kansky has taken the kill.
6 of 7 kill participation over to the Rel support, 3 of them on her own back, because I guess in team chat she must just be saying, you know, do more damage, guys. Like, come on, what's wrong?
That's a bit of a sore spot.
That's
I feel
rough.
like.
That's real rough.
Yeah.
Right,
especially when it could have been on like the Brand, you know.
For sure. For sure. Like 5 of those 6 kills, Slice was present for, hasn't picked up a single one. With the Rift Herald going over, we can see in the scoreboard that Balmif has fallen pretty far behind Slice in jungle camps taken. And then with that lower kill participation, has less bonus cookies, or I forget what the specific currency of the junglers these days, the pet advancement.
I don't really know either, but right now Slice is not going to be trying to get any of those. He's trying to survive as he is being jumped on by 42, but here comes the team. They've brought the members. The cavalry are here, and Typical is trying to get even further into this fight. They've claimed 1 kill. They can walk away because it's Chrissy that they took down as well. A big pickup in general, and Karosh also just quite happily pushing on this tower with Virtuoso's being close in vicinity. Not necessarily going to take that risk.
I'm going to go for it. There's both bot T1s falling there. 2 solo laners. And yeah, I like the way that fight started out. 42 threw a lot of single target CC that followed Slice through his flash back into the river. But at that stage, Chrissy had already rushed forwards, already committed the ultimate, and they're overexposed for a nasty burn back from the brand.
Virtuoso, I'm looking to see them really get into this game at the moment. So I feel like Typical's had quite a bit of impact with some of these TPs in these fights, and we haven't seen too much out of the Camille as of yet, but obviously Camille is Camille. We know that at some point in the game they will become quite dangerous, and there's a lot of squishy members from Rich Gang as well, so definitely want to keep your eyes on later on. But the gold lead is starting to open up for Rich Gang here now, 1.6k ahead.
They got to be happy with it for now. They've still got to be careful, though. They don't want to lose out on a bigger fight. As you mentioned, Virtuoso not committing hugely to the map yet. But Camille will do Camille things like this on the side lane, absolutely eviscerating that tower. Will also have the Hextech ultimatum. It's not the ultimatum, is it? It's the other one. Is it?
No, it is Hextech
ultimatum.
ultimate. Yeah.
Oh, I can count. That's incredible. I can count. I can read. J-Real, it's a bird. It's a plane.
It happens, you know, it happens sometimes. But talking about counting, we do have to count on this dragon because 40 seconds and the first mountain drake is up. And now, obviously, this is still early doors, right? At the moment, well, actually, no, it's not too early doors because Rich Gang have 2 dragons. So they're only 1 away from Soul Point. And right now, 42, they're not showing any sign of contesting this.
Yeah, if they interrupt Karosh here, it'd be great. But Karosh is already looking for the fallback into teleport with the Rift Herald down in mid. They are advantaged. And as Tiv in the background has reminded me, the jungle currency of the day is treats for your pets. There they are, cookies.
Oh.
They're pretty close. And we're still currently sitting on Bowmeef with 3. Slice has had, Slice finished his when Bowmeef was on 10. There's a bigger smite over for Rich Gang. This is one of the few times in the game when maybe contesting an objective that is a must contest just can't be done. So they've got to just try and defend some infrastructure. I like Rich Gang stretching this out, taking 42's inability to move up to the objective and running with it.
Ooh, and they're going for more. Magnet Storm going to be able to catch out JJ, but Flash, it will be utilized from both mid and ADC to get themselves out of the Rel's grasp. But Rich Gang taking 2 tier 2s there, mid and bot lane, for only trading 1 of their own in the top side, and now setting up for this dragon as well. Rexat in big trouble, going to be stunned up and launched in the air, taken down before Bowmeef can even get into the fight, and the backline, they have to just keep running.
Chrissy's going to have to absolutely nail some shots here, Jay. You're completely right. 2 tier 2 towers, but even more than that, they have invited 42 to approach them at the objective. This is Brand's strongest point. This is Ezreal's firing range. Rich Gang absolutely having a ball right now.
Yeah, that is going to be 3rd dragon. No real dramas for them to take this one, and I will say a precarious situation is being left for 42. In 5 minutes, they will have to fight, or they will be giving over a massive buff for Rich Gang, which I feel like unless 42 have drastically changed how the game is going, it's potentially going to be the final nail in that coffin. So with that being said, right now, I am looking to see how 42 can get a bit more active, to be honest. Maybe this is not the way because Bowmeef is getting caught, but this may have opened up. Chrissy now into the backline, able to get 1 kill already, and the Camille jumping in 2. They've got 2 kills. They've got a shutdown, but can they get out or can they get more? Here comes the Nautilus, but the Tristana is doing so much damage. Karosh is in, Karosh is out, and 42 have lost their ADC once again.
42, they're going to keep going. They're still going under this tower. They want Typical.
Magnet Storm holds them off though. JJ stunned up. JJ taking tower. JJ getting engaged on. Will not go down. And 42, they looked for Typical. They almost found him, but they almost lost a lot for it instead.
Very, very close. The threat of Karosh not having base present in their minds. They don't want to give the Tristana 3 resets. Instead, it will just fall away. A little overextension there, but yeah, 42 heard you. They wanted to get active. They wanted to get out on the map, even if it was just throwing hands. Before this Baron, they got a lot of summoner spells out of Rich Gang. I'm looking at Mirai specifically. Ezreal more vulnerable now. He didn't manage to pick up Slice or Kansuke's Flash, but a prize all the same. Chrissy also losing theirs. The overextension, maybe a little too much. We'll see if it matters when the Baron comes to pass as both teams set up around the objective.
Roche there. Just able to do so much with the Tristana, right? Picks up another tower, gives a little bit more gold influx, and you know what, Rich Gang, they do have to be careful, right? Because if we're looking at the CPs, yes, Vatuzo has theirs as well, but they can't leave that Camille in the side lane forever because Rich Gang, they have the potential to do that Baron very quickly. And Typical Aussie has already shown that they are often the first one to move.
Right, push neutralized in mid. We're going to see JJ go through top here. Might get a little nervous and not commit to the wave as wards around him are cleared. Ideally, you want that extra pushing lane there. Mid's always going to be neutral. Neither of these teams will buy much time out of killing mid wave. You've got to do it all the same. But your opponents will always be there. It'll be the top side now as JJ felt confident, but
Balmeave in trouble. Balmeave is gone, and Baron is wide open now.
Oh no, that feels so rough. As the Maokai, you want to be out there. You want to be this big bulky body that can go where they want and do as they please. Maybe a little overconfident because of JJ not getting engaged upon in the top side. It has left 42 exposed. They might try a Hail Mary, but this will be difficult.
TP's coming in, Baron going low, no jungler for 42, it is secured, and in comes the Magnet Storm, that breaks in one, and Chrissy can barely get into this fight, but in the backline we are seeing Mirai going very low. Virtuoso has picked up one, but will trade it for their own life. The Baron buffs are still active, 4 members with them, and Chrissy trying to find an opening, but I just don't see any way that they'll pick up more kills.
Yeah, ult already committed there for health and position. Won't be able to chase through the Baron buff over to Rich Gang. They've continued to accelerate their lead. It's been a little while since we checked in, but now 5,000 gold at the start of this power play. 4.5, beg pardon. But there will be an objective bounty. At least 42 have got to get themselves together not long before this Dragon Soul.
Yeah, 1 minute 23 on the clock. Chrissy can take a couple more camps, a little bit more gold, and then reset. But 42, they have to get prepared, and I won't lie to you, Temporal, I don't know if preparedness is really what's going to make a difference in this fight now, because they are so far behind, and it is such a powerful side from Rich Gang that I don't really see a way where the 5v5 they'll lose.
Yeah, I think Rich Gang only have to set up in 2 lanes, and this should come together for them. They should still be wary of a snap engage from Balmeave. This has been their only downfall in small skirmishes so far. 42 do still have that compositional way to draw them out of a fight. Extend things, make them difficult, and then precision strike on Mirai and Kurosh. We saw at that Baron fight, Mirai picked out completely by Virtuoso. Would like to see the Tristana be the focal point of that now, and maybe the brand as well.
Right now though, Rich Gang set up 26 seconds before the Dragon. We've talked about it. It's on your screen. It's ready. Typical starting to roam down as well. No TP. No TP on Virtuoso either. But that's why JJ has been sent to the side lanes. And I do wonder, Temporal, can they maybe get a cheese off? Can they maybe get a bit of a sneaky bush trap going?
Maybe. Blasting that plant over your opponent's vision does give away where you are, even if only to their wards. 42 here in a pinch point.
Moving forwards, Rich Gang trying to get aggressive with it. 42 have managed to isolate Kansuke, but Balmeave is being traded for it, however, able to get away. And now Roche is in trouble, gonna go down. A lot of damage from JJ, and this could be it. This could be the turnaround. 42 going aggressive, Slice going low, stays alive, does not fall down, but Virtuoso will be removed. Mirai still alive, Typical still very dangerous, and moving forward, Chrissy in trouble. Rex at the next target, the last alive, will get over the wall, but it doesn't make a difference, Temporal. The fight still stands, even though it was so good for 42. Rich Gang come out on top, and Dragon is their prize.
Despite 42 coming back in and giving all in front of this Dragon, the pieces of their team that survive the onslaught don't match up against Rich Gang. Cassante does so much against everyone who isn't Camille, everyone who isn't Maokai, and can take the beating. And unfortunately, Chrissy's damage at this stage with this attack speed coming through reflects badly on themselves with that Thorn Mail, with the position, and they will fall to Mirai and Typical. Dragon Soul in 24 minutes for Rich Gang. It's more evenly paced, Jay, I think it's fair to say, than earlier weeks. We've highlighted it earlier that the early game was calmer. We've seen that spike through. We've seen the controlled macro. It's now on Rich Gang to close this one out smoothly.
Yeah, and Rich Gang, I will say they seem a lot more composed this week, right? They seem very much on their game. They're doing the right movements. They're hitting the right macro. They're putting a stronghold on 42 without having to necessarily just swamp them with kills. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon, right? We've got 2 minutes before the Baron, but I feel like realistically, they could already start putting on that pressure. They can start getting that vision, trying to get those picks before the objective even spawns.
Yeah, do need to set up, 42 showed they can nearly do it there. We're so close to taking that one through. I think if JJ did survive on a slither of health, would have been enough to get through.
Yeah,
Real shame.
Slice surviving for a long time.
Oh yeah, they got a few extra spells that I really didn't think were going to get cast there, and it was really close on the margin. That already single mountain dragon and the Chemtech doing a reasonable amount of work there, adding the resistances, adding that extra survivability.
Right now, Rich Gang doing what I kind of talked about, setting themselves up in this jungle, starting to clear out a bit of vision. Fortunately, a couple of wards are being missed by them. So Fortitude will have a little bit of an inkling as to where the setup is going to be, where the other team are going to be located. But it may not stop them from the bigger plan, because right now the tier 2 is being targeted, and Temporal, there's no stopping this Tristana.
Nothing at all. Teleport back over will nullify any priority. 42 we're hoping to get as a consolation prize. Baume once again looking for this deep engage.
42. Yeah. Wary of the true shot barrage. They're very dangerous.
I think they were wary of what might have came behind it. Baume not trying to find himself behind enemy lines once again. Interestingly enough, Chrissy in the bottom lane here, not Virtuso. So I'll have to be slightly reassigned.
It is the build, maybe a little bit of a question, because I guess, yes, it's nice to have that AP damage coming out from the Leandries, but you're obviously then a lot squishier. In a game where maybe you could have been a bit tankier.
It's pretty fair. Jungle Maokai still doesn't get that tanky because you're relatively poor compared to like top lane that sponges loads of gold, or the free item that comes out from support. Which lets you like index into Trailblazer and a bunch of other less commonly built items as sort of move speed and situational stuff. I do like it from the Maokai, but you do need to play it slower. With that lack of tankiness comes, I hope your plants were set up properly so you can see where the threat is coming from. That should be what allows Baume to go a little extra here.
We're talking about where the threat is. They should know that Rich Gang are realistically on this Baron. They've already started it up. They're getting through that health bar pretty quickly, but here comes Nature's Grass. This will set them up in the trap, and right now they have managed to lock down a couple members, but it hasn't dissuaded them. But we might be getting a smite fight Temporal. In we go. It's secured by the Ezreal, and they've already taken down Baume. Now Rich Gang can just pour forth and push potentially for the end of the game, to be honest. They might just want to start pressing these towers and go for some inhibs.
They have a lot of pushing power. They have split it though. Kurosh, the main pivot point. At this rate, Baume will be up before they should have the option to get through a tower. JJ and Virtuso should be more than enough to clear this away, even with the Baron and Pad buff.
Please be careful of those Mystic shots though, JJ. Feeling the brunt of that immediately, and obviously Kansky very, very willing to press the go button, not scared at all. Does still have Magnet Storm, and that will force away 42. Inhib tower taken, Inhib will fall as well, and now here comes Tristana with the setup in the top side.
All right, 42 based. Chrissy and I think Baume if it was up there at the side as well. They've got to fight.
Engage on the back for Tuzo in big trouble though, has to run away immediately. Chrissy now getting into the back line, a lot of damage on Timmy right, absolutely deletes them, and the mid laner 42, they're doing it. Temporal, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, and they hold themselves steady in the base.
That's what the Kaiser pick was for. That's why the base came through for that Nash's Tooth and a needlessly large rod. 42 said, we can't have that tower. It's risky. We've got the money. Spend it, and we engage at the most favorable time as that inhibitor tower split Rich Gang's attention. They surge forwards. That's why the Kaiser is great against the Ezreal. He's got nowhere to hide. And as Tristana was trying to lurk in the back of their composition, the Kaiser was able to eviscerate both.
Virtuoso now turning around the tempo, able to just destroy that first turret. I thought they could have even maybe gone for a little bit more, but they decide against it. They want to set themselves up because Elder Dragon Temporal in 30 seconds. They need to get themselves ready because this will be a defining fight of the game. 42. They have opened up a potential for them to win this. And I feel like it comes down to this fight.
Like the early teleport from Virtuoso, anyone being picked out here will have the Camilo on top. And Mirai is on a ward. He's on a ward.
Ooh, exit ultimatum going on to Mirai. Will it be enough? Over Virtuoso losing their health so quickly. They're already gone down, and it's 2 split. 42. They weren't ready to take this fight. They were not able to get that composed look like they did in the base. And now, Rich Gang, they might go for the end.
Mirai, not a huge amount of health, but otherwise, Rich Gang in a commanding position. Mirai was on that ward, but the Ezreal hasn't been the strong point of the composition. We should have been looking for Kura, should have been looking for Slice. I get why the hesitation over Slice. He's got a freshly completed Zhonya's going all in on that. Would have still spelt disaster. 42, there were glimmers of hope. It was close in some of the fights.
No hero moments in the end. It is going to be all Rich Gang taking 42 down. Nexus will fall. A 50 extra gold in their pockets and another win on the scoreboard. Temporal Rich Gang coming back and showing how dominant a team they really can be, and that's very reminiscent of what we saw in those early weeks from them. So with that being said, Rich Gang taking that one pretty nicely. In the end, pretty cleanly, to be honest. I feel like 42, obviously, they almost spoiled their party with a couple of fights at the end, but it wasn't to be, right?
Close.
One perfect moment was all they got, and then they were never allowed to play the game again.
Yeah, it kind of felt like it, didn't it? There was a lot of pressure on them in the end. If you imagine Rich Gang weren't so far ahead, it gets a lot easier with that precise target selection. So I probably would, if I was, able to travel time, I'd probably be changing that Camille pickup. I think that one's slightly out of date. I'd be looking for something maybe like the Ornn. I want to do a similar job. I want some target selection, but maybe I want it in a way that can't be so compressed by K'Sante.
Indeed. Well, with that being said, we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, we will be getting an interview from Rich Gang. So make sure you stay tuned. And then after that, we'll be getting on to game number 2. So there's still a lot of action to come throughout the day. Do not go anywhere.
Nice.
Hey.
Hello and welcome back. We are joined by the coach of Rich Gang. It is Cyclash. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. And I've got to ask you, I'm going to kick it off with the first question, right? I feel like Rich Gang have been a little bit turbulent in terms of like how much macro versus how much hands checking you guys have been doing. Do you feel like you've kind of gone through a couple of weeks now? You said, okay, enough's enough. Let's kind of nail it down, because today it looked very clean compared to some of the maybe scrappier games that we've seen so far from you guys.
I mean, it's the same as what happened last split. We kind of had some problems in the scrims we had before the start of the split, and now we're just picking it back up. Last time we started with the same score line where we lost 2 games by the second week, and I'm not worried about us losing a game here or there. Our goal is still to win the split. It doesn't really matter how you end the regular split, as proved by last split where we were dominating and then we lost the finals. So our goal is just to win the finals, and everything else doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So far, you've still lost those 2 games. What was sort of the biggest like drive to change? Is it going to be similar to last split where it's just, oh, we clean this up, we look at this, or has there been something more specific?
It is more specific, but at the same time, it's more of a how much can we just try out and get away with? Because the first game we first time Vayne, and then we went and kept like chasing with slightly different experimental stuff. I think the unique game was the only one that we didn't like go full bananas in terms of trying different things. And that's because I really want to beat Dutch. He's not on Rich Gang, so he's a traitor, and he needs to be beaten. Anything else, it's fair game, and we'll just try things, and we'll try to improve.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought them up, actually, because I was going to ask you about this. So, Unique, obviously, one of the teams you lost to. You already mentioned Touch, a little bit of rivalry. Are you feeling that you can overcome this team? Because at the moment, they're undefeated, right? They do look really, really solid. Do you feel like when you rematch them a little bit later down the split or in playoffs, you'll get the better of them? Or are you still a little bit like, you know what, they are still a good team, we're going to show respect, it could be 50-50?
All I need to say is you just need to look at the games. We were the closest team to beat them. They had to battle out really hard to even get the chance to beat us. And if they did one tiny mistake, they would probably lose that game. It was super close from the beginning to the end. And it's just a matter of us like stepping up and being in the control zone. Nothing else.
Okay.
All right. With that in mind, do you think you're going to beat Unique next time? You think the rest of the split is going to be like smooth sailing?
I'm not gonna say smooth sailing because I don't like to jinx myself like Slice did. Slice said we wouldn't lose.
I set
and then
the
we lose the
trap.
next
Well
game.
done for not
It's like
stepping on it.
he's mad about jinxing us, but he's right about one thing. I think we're just one of the better teams, and besides Unique, I'm not really that worried. It's much of we are our own enemies in this split, and how much we can improve is what will keep us from either promoting or not.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much for coming through for the interview. Obviously, we learned a little bit about you guys there. Is there anyone that you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to shout out the other coach and the rest of the staff that has been in Rich Gang. Zealous, Envy, Tomas, like they're all doing their own jobs, and it's been like really, really amazing how much we've been able to do.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you very much. We are going to say goodbye. We will see you later. We're going to move it on to Just Me and Temporal now, actually. We're going to go on to the next game. We're looking at the pre-game of Game 2 today. It is Garden Gaming versus the team we've already talked a lot about in that interview, Unique. So, Temporal, it's your first time actually getting to watch them live from the box viewpoint here, straight on the top of the Rift. Unique, let's start with them. They're a strong team. They've not lost. They're looking good. They got the best macro. And as Rich Gang kind of alluded to, they're the closest they got to beating them, and even then, it still wasn't enough.
That is actually how we do it. If you wondered at home, me and Jairiel are teleported to like a little box. We have our little legends from TFT and ARAM, and we sit in there and we're like, that's absolutely how that works.
Yeah,
I
the
think-
viewing is actually just our binoculars. So,
like, did he miss that CS? I gotta. Let me just check in.
And if you think, oh well, it jumps sometimes, yeah, that's just one person's point of view to the second, So come on, guys.
Absolutely, you gotta flick between. You gotta give the eyes a rest every now and again. I'm excited to see them live. I think Touch has been a pretty standout player. Mr. Telly for all these years. He's done really well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be an uphill battle for the Gardeners here. I'm excited to see Mickle back again. I'm excited to see this roster continue forwards. I'm a little bit worried that they might just get eviscerated in the first few minutes. We'll have to see. It might be a return to that slightly faster gameplay you mentioned.
Interesting you said that, because I have a take on Garden Gaming at the moment, and I really like Garden Gaming, by the way. I really hope they're the best. I enjoy them a lot. I think the org in general is just very cool.
Absolutely
awesome.
Wicked.
But they have had a history, and so far I haven't seen it change. Maybe I didn't see their last game, so maybe they have kind of corrected it a little bit. But slow starting, really good mid game, late game team fighting, but they tend to put themselves in a bad situation so that when they get to the bit where they're strong at, they're not doing the best because they just don't have the tools to really win the game. And I feel like if they can just shore up that start, they can just go even maybe pick up a couple leads here and there. I think they can really, really play a big role in this whole split and potentially even do a lot in playoffs. But they have to shore up that start. And I feel like Unique is not that team to give a lead to. Like, they are probably the worst team to let be aggressive early on, and especially with some of the things that they've been doing as well. They've been playing things like Quay bot, Temporal. So if they do get that lead early on, hey, it might just be GG.
It's pretty massive. I'm just looking over Garden Gaming's games, and you're right. They don't seem to get themselves on like a track where they pick up like an objective in sequence. They seem to like sometimes contest one dragon or like one of the grub spawns. They're not in there smoothly on time. So regardless of what composition they pick, which style they try and go into Unique with, as the draft is disappearing, we'll be back very soon.
Hopefully
not right now. Then I'd like to see them try and execute. It's kind of a criticism we could have thrown at Rich Gang as well. They were at those dragons on spawn, but there wasn't like the full execution from their team comp. That's probably what they're going to be growing into. I don't want to put words in Ticklash's mouth, but he hinted, there's more to improve. There's more to be got here. That's good. Garden Gaming got to start growing into that right now.
There's also the notion that Unique, I think, and I would have to go do some stat checking, which I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to do this, but like, I think Unique are the most aggressive when it comes to early objectives, right? I've seen them multiple times take at least one set of grubs and 2 dragons, so they really are quite proactive in those early stages. And I do think that it's something that, if we're talking about Garden Gaming, okay, maybe try and get some objectives. This is the match where it's going to matter the most, right? This is the match where this team is going for that. Now, let's get into pick and bans, right? Because I will say Unique have a couple of picks that I feel like should be banned against them. Like, one of them being Aatrox, right? Like, Archfiend, kind of crazy with that top laner.
I'm not too familiar with the players. I'm just looking through. Does have a bit of a strong record on that. Also picked up the Renekton twice this split. Those are his 2 most favorite champions. In fact, some of that was LP LOL split last year, where he also played a boatload of Aatrox and Renekton. So I'm seeing a pattern of aggression here. That's quite all right.
A synergy.
Yes.
But they've shown respect. They've respected it. They banned it. They also banned the Maokai, which has been played 3 times by Banner History. The other time that they didn't play, they played the Ivan. So they've actually banned out the whole champion pool of Banner History so far. I speculated this last week that maybe they're actually just a tree person. They voted green today, and they're now going to play Zyra. So I'm really hoping I'm right.
We'll see. The Corki priority is still pretty strong. We don't see it a huge amount in the bot lane, but it is still technically a flex. So let's keep our minds open when it comes to Garden Gaming. Now, on the red side, wouldn't be surprised to see Unique respond with the Tristana. They have had it in... Oh, wait, they banned it. They banned it. Send help. And without the Maokai, you don't have the team fight set up. Am I missing something about this Ezreal, Jariel? Is this just a Div 2 pick? Is this the choice?
Okay, so I was on cast with Rev on Monday last week. this week. I don't remember what it was. They've done a lot of casting.
Recently.
Rev was talking to me about Ezreal, and he was saying that it's in a really good spot, right? It's been buffed, it's looking very strong, it's quite formidable, and people are just very content picking it regardless of who they're playing against, even into things like the Kai'Sa, which historically can be quite problematic matchups for them. So, I don't know, maybe people are just very comfortable on it. Deadhound, though, I'm not sure where this Ezreal is going now, because I will be honest, Hwei bot has been a very consistent pick for them. Dusty did play it. No, Dusty didn't play it mid. It was banned away last time. So they did play an AP mid once. But you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if Dusty's playing Ezreal and Deadhound's playing Hwei.
All right, the Rumble nerfs have not come through here yet because I don't believe they're out on live. I think they're in the next scheduled patch, which went live 2 days ago or next week. I've not kept up and I do not have the client open to check. Alas. Still really strong top laner, really open. I believe does mess with Kazante sufficiently as well, so it's unlikely we'll see him through the second rotation. I like the Vi pickup there, setting up for Ezreal and Hwei's damage in a reliable way by throwing yourself in and pushing R. Looks real good for this composition.
Yeah, all in all, setting themselves up nicely. I feel like Garden Gaming going for some classics, right? I think Sejuani, everyone has been seeing
it is
increasing priority.
It's like, you know, the best hits of this last 6 months. These champions are pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, and Corki, you know what? We could still see it Corki bot. You know, it could be Corki mid. It's still open. There's still a lot of flexibility, which I do like. The Garden Gaming have set themselves up for. The one thing I will ask for is potentially a little bit more melee for this Sejuani to get a bit of setup. So either a melee support, which obviously there's a lot of them. You know, you've got quite a few to pick from, or maybe get something spicy in the mid lane like an Akali.
Potentially. I think Akali not the most reliable into Hwei. Once he can sort of be clearing those waves away, he really can play from a screen away. It's incredible. And Akali wants to get up and do some damage. It is still that skill expression pick though. So maybe we see an assassin come through like you mentioned. The Aurelia, I think, would be the skill check in the 2v2. But it is so risky to start that off. I think we might yet see a flex where that Rumble could go mid and the Sejuani at the top with the Leandries. We've seen it in LEC last week, I think. I wasn't watching, but I saw it on Twitter. Pretty sure it was from Mad or Vitality. It was a yellow team. In any case, Garden Gaming is still open. They sort of have to bring this together. They've banned the Kazante anyway, which does hint that it will be this Rumble in the top side.
Oh, we'll definitely have to see how this one ends up. Ornn being banned away. Interesting from Garden Gaming there. Definitely just kind of picking Archfiend and being like, you are the problem in this squad, so we're going to ban you.
Yes.
I will say, I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot of problems from this squad. You know, I think they're all problems, to be honest. So, yeah, it's definitely a way to play, and you know what? We haven't seen it yet, so why not give it a go? Rel, going to be the hover, though. It's going to be an engaged support. I feel like that's kind of what Touch has been playing exclusively, right? We've had Leona, Alistair, Nautilus. Any of those will do. Nautilus going to be locked in. Goes nice with the Vi. But it also makes me question where that Ezreal's going. I still don't believe it's ADC.
Man, Kaiser, either solo lane, like just assigned into the Ezreal here, and you move the Corki around. There's so much damage. You can even lock the Leona in for that winning 2v2. I think even Corki enjoys that quite well. It's just such a strong set. Garden Gaming, Mikkel's Zyre is huge. It will give him plenty of evasion.
Yeah, makes more sense.
The Zyre are Khan to play through, so they just want to play their own game. Garden Gaming just got their eyes on the prize. Max DPS at all times. Maybe not the most interactive in the later stages of draft, which could cause them some issues, but let's see. Unique have got one final pick. There's a splash of evasion, but otherwise Garden Gaming all in on a 5-man team.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it is about Volleybet. Absolutely despise playing against in solo queue, but I love watching him play. When I'm not having to play against it, it's so fun to watch, man. Like the fact that he just does not die, it's hilarious. I love it. So I'm actually really happy about this Volleybet pickup. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's exciting. I think don't think we've seen this champion yet. I'm going down the champion list and I can't see it.
I've got to ask, big question though, Temple.
Yes.
Rakan, does it proc Sejuani's
melee?
I
used to know this.
I don't think it does.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
And
Most importantly,
that's kind of frustrating.
Rumble does, and I think that should be the line we're playing to. With the Sejuani though in the bot lane, you do tend to have the pop-up from the Rakan and the
Yeah.
feathers as well, so you still have plenty of setup. It's just a shame you don't have plenty of setup and your own Frostbite on top.
Yeah, I was thinking there could have been a world where like maybe we get something a little bit crazy. Like obviously again, it's all player dependent, so I'm not really sure if Squidly would play something like this. But there was a world where I was in my mind like, oh, do we get like maybe Irelia mid, Corki moves to the bot lane, and then you just perma set up on Hwei? Because like, okay, yeah, if it was Hwei or the Ezreal, right? Realistically, they're going to play quite far away, but Irelia obviously notoriously good at gap closing, and Sejuani sets them up nicely with that CC. But it's just a speculation for another time. Maybe a team will hear me and play it later on down the line. Wink, wink. Someone pick that duo, please. But with that being said, Volibear is on the Rift. We haven't seen a Volibear, I think, at all in the split so far. So it's our first Thunder Bear in the top side. You've played it. I don't know if you played it a lot of them, but you definitely know a lot about the pick.
5 years.
What's going on?
Lots of that champion. I think he's in a pretty good spot right now. I think there is the Jack of all trades build, which is the personal solo queue standout. It does just let you 1v1. I think it's Rod of Ages Navori. You can mix it up a bit. There's a little bit of flexibility. I would have to reference the spreadsheet. It's that sort of build. When you do ask people out of game, stack 10 stats. People will write down a few ways to do 10 stats. I think there's a Darn's Blade setup as well, which is a little bit different. In the 1v1, if you play all the way through and you move very nicely around some of the overheat sections and you don't get equalized in the face for the full duration, Volibear will win out. But he doesn't do so well in the extended setup in lane. A few electro harpoons to the chin, and the bear looks a little bit weaker. You do go into that late game with that strong dive potential, which can't be underestimated.
Well, let's get into this game. Who will be shocked? Who will be shocking? We'll find out. That top lane has a lot of thunder, but will it be all bark and no bite? Will the lightning actually crash on either side? As here we go, Garden Gaming setting themselves up for a pretty tall task of trying to take down Unique.
Tall task indeed. Still undefeated at this stage. Unique Esports Club. It would be a statement set up from Garden Gaming to defeat them here. They have a very them team composition. We mentioned Garden Gaming likes to go later, likes to settle into a late game comfort zone, and frankly, you can tell from this team composition, the only real lane power that they are missing out on would come from a slightly more aggressive jungler.
Okay, we got confirmation as well. Apparently, Rakan will be proccing the Sejuani stuff. It is melee. So,
I love we
said
can
Unique. Unique on the
Did they change that
here.
maybe? I think they
in 12:22 apparently.
Oh, I'm only 2 years out of date. What could have gone wrong?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, damn.
I don't play Rakan. Admission. When I support, I want to really mess with people. So it's like Blitzcrank, that sort of thing.
Thresh or Braum.
Zyra, Thresh, Braum into Nautilus for sure.
Great pick. Shout out to Roddy Regan for that one.
He's a very good Nautilus. Interestingly enough, pings onto the bot bushes. Unique didn't see that directly on a ward. I think they're going to assume they've set up in the 2v2. Getting a surprise here with Zyra Rakan early on is pretty powerful. Meanwhile, Unique spotted by Garden Gaming's ward. And then will be seen in the lane.
Yeah, we never actually converted. I was right. Ezreal is going to be in that mid lane, so it is going to be Hwei on the bot side, which Deadhound has played a lot. This is their 4th time picking it. The only time it was not picked was because it was banned away from them, and they do seem very comfortable on the champion. And right now, it seems like Unique are quite happy in this trading as well.
Yeah, they'll lose a little more of Touch's health, not really respecting the bone plating falling slightly earlier. So, decent setup, and Zyra Rakan will start to do what they like to do in lane. They'll run these heals, they'll run a little bit of chip damage. They'll look for the all-in much later, but they are looking for health domination and getting up onto the minion wave and getting their levels first.
Right now, Dusty playing that Ezreal in the mid lane. I am interested to see how this one goes, right? Obviously, the Corki, notorious for their poke build. Dusty going aggressive straight into the Corki. Not what I was expecting, but trading pretty evenly.
Yeah, not the end of the world. Squidly does have the fleet footwork. It's popped all of their potions, both running biscuits. They will be looking to regen from heavy trades, inviting their junglers nearby. Hellish thought about going in there, wasn't quite able to set up a line onto the Ezreal and will be spotted. Meanwhile, Banana is tasty. Oh, we saw a flash in mid, flashes both, and Squidly just gets away with it.
Squidly in trouble. Now, I will say one thing to think about Unique do win early often, or at least go neutral. Deadhound has gone behind a lot on Hui. It's not that they win the lane often, it's just that they are able to stabilize it enough that in the mid game when Hui gets really, really strong, they are always in time. So yeah, definitely one to watch out for in that mid stage. I'm not expecting a lot of pressure from Unique in that early part of the bot lane, although saying that, there's the damage. I mean, going super low, the heal gonna keep them alive. Mickle, almost without a laning partner.
That's fantastic. You know what you do, Jay, if you can't do it in the 2v2? You just get the tower to do it for you. And slightly overstepping there, punished by a massive chunk of damage. Touch and Dead Hand should be confident here in stepping up on the minion wave. Even if they allow Ermin a bit of an opportunity to heal, they should be able to get spells down, get the mana out, and get a decent recall. If not on this wave, then the next.
Hook lands in. We are going to see a rebuttal though. Damage is going to come back onto Taj, and Mickle quite happy just to freely attack. Will flash forward in aggression, but not going to be able to find the damage. And Deadhound able to trade back very consistently. So Garden Gaming losing flash in that bot side for their ADC could potentially be getting visited by Banistry.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about getting the flash there. I think if Dead Hand just chunked a little more damage and sort of sidestepped to prevent a Feathers pull, could have probably taken Ermin down there, at least force the flash out from the support, which I think is slightly more worth it at this stage. Touch in this lane will be getting position onto the Rakan. You never quite find a way through, but at least they've won themselves this bottom lane priority and will feed most of this wave to the tower.
A lot of experience being lost there. They're up a decent amount. And talking about up on a mountain, Dusty really playing with the health bars there. Squidly losing a lot of pressure in that early laning phase. Talk about pressure at the top, so we haven't really talked about it much, but Uzo is having a great time. The bear not really able to do too much.
Yeah, you want the all-ins here as Archfiend. It's a real risk to just be running headlong at early levels. I don't think he has so far, to be fair, from what I've been keeping an eye on the minimap. But the Volibear does not like being poked. All of his healing, all of his sustain, all of his shielding does rely to some degree on being in combat. So he'll be coming through in a few levels. We'll look for like level 5, level 6, a bit of a setup there. That's where he can maybe turn that back around.
Yeah, a little bit of a confusing one to all our woodland fellas. You know, do poke the bear. It's a good idea. And right now, Archfiend definitely not enjoying it too much. Trying to get as much CS and experience as possible, and should hopefully start to get a little bit more power once they get the Stormbringer. But with that being said, talking about people that are doing quite well, Dusty is really dominating Squidly quite a lot in this lane, and not seeing a lot of potential for Hellish to really get back into it, but we are starting to see pings. The gank could be on its way. The Vi's also in this close vicinity, so maybe Garden Gaming got to play it safe.
Yeah, we'll prevent the 1v1 kill. Hopefully, Squidly just having to hold his own there. No flash to get away. And while Banana is Tasty will engage, I think that'll just be a walk-off.
No flashes on that bot side. Make it a little bit more difficult to get fully aggressive, but all is fair, all will be pretty even. And right now, Unique, they're going for that classic that I talked about, going for those early plays on those neutral objectives. As right now, Deadhound going to have to flash away. Sparring Despair does a lot of damage, but Ermin not about dead just yet. Severing Bolt not going to land. And once again, the Rakan just about limps away.
Will just survive. Not the 2 versus 2 they were looking for, but I think Garden Gaming will be fine with going even at this stage. Banana is Tasty is all on his own. We'll just be able to walk off there. We can already see the power of this Rumble at this early stage, with just an Electro Harpoon and a Flame Spitter, half health to the jungler. Archfiend has to be careful here. He is out of mana, and that Stormbringer real expensive.
Whew. Not having a fun time. Archfiend just trying to stay in the lane. Rumble, obviously a notoriously difficult one to lane against, as Hellish has been caught out here, but the Equalizer going to give them a decent amount of damage back, and Squidly now roaming up. Banistry in big trouble here. Popped, first blood is secured, and Archfiend might be next, although just about can't dive the bear yet, but Uzo seems confident they might go for this again. Tanking the tower, Hellish steps up, but there's the shield, and they will go for the kill, and Uzo gets out, but Hellish will finally fall down in return.
One shot too much, and Squidly not in position to tank, so it will be the trade over. Archfiend probably won't be super impressed with that. Everyone losing Flash does mean that he will sort of have to just take this at face value and won't be able to evade the poke, won't be able to start an all-in from range. Unique, you know, the gold is still absolutely dead even, but they'll be fine going forwards with this.
Yeah, and they have also picked up a dragon. So right now they are sticking to their game plan. All right, they're going for those early objectives. They're getting that secured. They're giving themselves ways back into the game. But at this time, Garden Gaming are actually doing what I didn't expect, which is having quite a solid early game.
Yeah, we kind of do have to recognize that for all the strength that Uzal has put up over Archfiend, currently Dusty is doing the same to Squidly, so everything is still dead even. And this Ezreal going to be such a menace to put up with.
And Unique have gone for a bit of a weird decision there, going for that invade to then just have to back away. And Deadhound, now in a bit of a sticky situation, is able to just keep themselves too far away from Hellish. But a play that once again backfired on to Unique, so not converting these early plays onto Garden Gaming.
The damage, the damage.
Side, oh man, Uzal can get away with murder with that Flame Spitter just burning through the health bar of the bear.
I respect Uzal for that as well. Could have gone for the all-in on that last set. That would have been winning for Archfiend. Even down at like a third health. The Volibear can make it happen. Oh, okay. Dusty's starting to play the mind games. That one was slightly angled. The last true shot barrage was straight. Starting to try and mess with Squidly, trying to play that mind game, try and get a flash out of him.
Just dodgeball.
Yeah, it is dodgeable. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, but I'm still going to try and spin it.
Right now, next dragon going to be coming up in 48 seconds, expecting Benistry to go straight down for that one, expecting a lot of high pressure on these objectives to just sustain how Unique like to play, because I do think right now, if they can weather that storm, then they will set themselves up for a pretty strong position at the mid-game. And obviously, if you're back then by a couple of dragons as well, the pressure gets turned up a notch for Garden Gaming.
We'll have to see. They have one sort of big victory on the top side of this Rumble. Something we wouldn't have expected necessarily.
Ooh, we may be getting a bit of a trade-off in the mid. Dusty able to step away. Good flash, and now in comes Ministry, but they managed to get the lockdown onto the buy. Not super tanky at the moment. The TPs have come through as well, and Deadhound able to do so much damage, but Hellish just not falling, and not enough from Dusty either. Ermin also limping away, and yes, they will be able to secure the dragon, but no further kills for Unique.
Well, managed to push up on that mid tower as well. Deadhand with the teleport across surprised me a little bit there, forgetting that Archfiend is running the Ignite for this all-in.
Oh, now actually able to all-in themselves. Stormbringer down, plus a lot of damage. Uzo, they come to half HP and had to use the Equalizer, so finally the bear seeing a bit of victory. Wait,
it's a small one.
There was a steal. Mikkel stole the dragon.
Yo, let's go, Mikkel. I can only imagine that was a feathers out, an immediate pullback. Banana is nasty, just maybe slightly early, slightly late on that one. Real unfortunate. Garden Gaming as well, doing the coast to coast. Banana is tasty, arriving just to find that, you know, Uzal is so far out. Archfiend is currently lurking in a bush.
Ooh, this could be a tricky one for the Rumble. It doesn't hit though! Ballbreaker not connecting could be absolutely massive here, because Hellish has made their way up. They have managed to kill the first one, but can they get the second? Ministry out with such little health, and now Hellish in big trouble. Archfiend closing the gap, and Dusty with an assist sets up for Unicue, and it is absolutely massive. Unique take massive wins across the board there, because now they can even pick up another one of those grubs.
An absolute gift from a Garden Gaming, who had gone coast to coast, had picked up one of the grubs. You know, they were in position, they were doing the thing, they stole the dragon, and while Mikkel will lose some health here, I'm sure he's going to be fine with that aggressive positioning.
Or are they? Severing Bolt going to come down, not going to land though. Nice blade, cool, will be able to keep Mikkel safe for a little bit longer, but in goes the damage again. Severing Bolt lands this time though, but Sparring Despair wasn't enough to kill off Ermin, and now Deadhound is the one being chased down. Squidly with the rotation has made their way over and should be gifted this kill, as we are going to see it play out a little bit longer. Deadhound just trying to get a bit of mana, trying to become dangerous, and Squidly almost falls down.
While GG get a little bit of scraps off the end of the... Oh, no way!
What I don't think
Tasty, just
anymore.
let it go.
They can't. but cease and desist going in for Herman. But is it going to be enough? Is the damage there? The flash away, the flash forward, the heal. But history has gone too far. Temporal locked down and secured.
That's what in the business we call an unfortunate error. A little bit of overextension there. Banana Street just keeps going. Just dives in, burns absolutely everything, does not convert. Being kited around by 3 members of the enemy. Not enough. Garden Gaming got more than a little bit out of that fight at the end, but in general, Unique patched up their weakness with 2 kills over to this Volibear on the top side. He's now completed his Rod of Ages, so that's stacking online that bit earlier than it should have been. The Rumble should have been able to keep the bear suppressed. Not so much anymore, and with this objective coming up, he's going to get another chance to get stuck in and cast this ultimate.
Garden Gaming, they have managed to do some of the things we asked, right? We asked for a bit of objective control. They have managed to secure 1 dragon. They also stopped Unique from getting the buff from the grubs. So all in all, they have managed to put themselves in a decent position. They've also not fallen super far behind. It's only a K, but right now with the aggression on Dusty, maybe they could have equalized if that had gone a little bit better. But we are going to have to start seeing how it plays out in the mid game, right? They're going for that Rift Herald now. Dragon going to be up in 1 minute 40, but towers are starting to crumble. Temporal.
Infrastructure across the map. Ooh, Unique so close to another steal. Not quite. Slightly early both. And if we look at how this is playing out, Jay, we said, you know, Unique should try and pick up everything. And currently, they are just short of a grub buff after only picking up 1 spawn. They've only got 50% of the dragons. I think it's fair to say Garden Gaming have managed.
Yeah, they've done what we asked. I respect it a lot, so good GG to them. But can they continue? Can they keep and push this lead further, right? Can they start to build themselves back into this game? Because at the moment, as we said, there is a little bit of a goal disparity to Unique. They have still managed to maintain those earlier leads, but is there a turning point for Garden Gaming? We've seen a couple of good fights go their way. Definitely dangerous, as we might need to see them fight for this dragon, because I don't know if steals are going to get them all the way through the game.
Yeah, I want to see Uzol come down early in advance. Hellish should be the one taking this poke with that Warmogs to regen it back up. Ermin won't be in a huge amount of trouble, but currently the Sejuani needs to be the front line. Double TP, full committal to the timer for this objective. They will push this wave. The next one will arrive only as the objective spawns. So with the Rift Herald in, Garden Gaming are looking to get in first on the objective.
And I do wonder if, you know, maybe we just see the trade of towers, as right now in the top side, there is a play for that. Archfiend just able to wail on this tower, should be able to take it pretty easily, and doesn't have TP, but may just keep going for more towers, to be honest. And I feel like a tier 2 for a dragon wouldn't be so bad.
Not the end of the world. I think, ooh, maybe. I think the Rumble should be able to cast the Equalizer if it's under a huge amount of threat. There it goes. Archfiend's attempt nullified. That does mean Garden Gaming's teleport is now not only no longer present, but even if they run back down, it wouldn't have that teamfight ultimate. Wonder if Unique try and bridge this from mid. It would be running into vision right now, but that Aphelios, that way, an absolute machine. When it doesn't cast its cooldowns for a few minutes, ultimate there or not, you have to be wary of it absolutely unloading a mana bar.
Oh, yo, Archfiend going aggressive here, does not care, knows there's no equalizer, and Uzol gonna have to flush away, but here's the Stalker. The bear is coming forward, but not gonna be able to land themselves onto the target, and Archfiend now having to walk away because Mikkel has joined the fight. But talking about fights in the bot side, Ermin in big trouble, immediately removed from the game, and now Banistri trying to go further. Can they find the lockdown onto Hellish? No cease and desist left. The Volbreaker not going to get them close enough to the Sejuani. So 1 for 1 across the map as Archfiend was picked up a little bit later on.
Okay, I'm going to try and say his name properly this time. Bananiasti? Bananiasti, there we go. That's how you say it. E-S-T. Excellent. Bananiasti, tip of the spear once again, pushes forwards. Unique, able to dish out the damage. You do really have to be careful of the play. Hasn't used any cooldowns for wave play.
Right now, Ermin, though, tanking up. The Spiraling Despair will be hit onto Hellish as well. Deadhound with very low mana here. Can't really dish out much more. Fortunately for Garden Gaming, they were able to play around that. Get a little bit of pressure back into the mid lane. Not giving up the tier 1 just yet.
Right. Small pushback there. Garden Gaming stacking these dragons. They've got to be happy with it so far. However, the gold lead has started to balloon out. Uzol has not been so secure in lane. And despite getting onto Dead Hand here, won't be able to convert. That's the second equalizer in a row. It hasn't really converted into a play afterwards. So they do have to worry slightly. Maybe come back together. I'd like to see a slightly different setup. If they're going to commit double TP to start an objective, I want to see this War Monks getting some value. I want to see Hellish absolutely running headfirst into a dangerous setup.
3 minutes until the next dragon, so still quite a way off before we're going to see that objective come up. And I feel like Garden Gaming, they seem composed. You know, that's how I would describe them in this matchup. Like, it's not necessarily going all their way, but I feel like they've had
more
a
than I
pretty
would have
nice start.
expected. Absolutely more than I would have expected. And maybe it's down to Unique playing a slightly different composition. Clearly the Volibear hasn't been able to overwhelm.
Ooh, and hey, this is looking even better. Dusty in big trouble. Gonna be taking. Oh man, it's again supports.
It's the day of the supports, man. They're out here for their money, and they know they're worth it. So they're going to get it.
It's, yeah, the shutdown as well. That's what's sad about it.
That's a lot of money. And spend it wisely. It's really cool to sort of see Garden Gaming recognizing that, you know, the Ezreal is slightly more fragile than you'd expect. Taking flashes, taking names. They should have a decent Baron setup here. And with Uzol, you know, despite not accelerating firmly in the last few minutes, still so strong at this stage in the game. The Leandries, a bunch of ability power on top. If that's a Shadow Flare on top as well, an absolute disaster in PvP. Inviting Garden Gaming to come at you, or inviting Unique into the pit, would be a really, really powerful move before this next dragon comes up.
Okay, Uzol having to TP back to base, by the way, was under threat of getting ganked. So
was he behind enemy line?
Well, it wasn't behind enemy lines. I think the enemy were behind his lines and realized a little bit too late. So they decided against it. They were going to TP themselves out. So no TP on the Rumble, which obviously does close down the map.
They're not going to do the Ezreal again.
Gaming. But Dusty definitely needs to be careful. But this time does have backup. So it wouldn't necessarily go as it did once before. But Garden Gaming, they're once again looking to get that pressure. They're setting themselves up for this dragon. But this time, I feel like Unique are down to fight.
All right, in this brief lull state, and it will be brief, observers, can I ask to see if Archfiend's Jack of all trades has become active? I believe it is. Merc Treads not only giving the magic resist. Hey, there it is. 10 or 25. He's got the 25 bonus stats through. The Doran's Blade is 3 stats. We have AD, Omnivamp, and of course health. The boots is 3. That's movement speed, magic resist, and tenacity. And with the Navori and the Rod of Ages through as well, that is in full count. This bear is misleadingly powerful right now.
But I'm surprised. Why is Archfiend gone top when the dragon is about to spawn?
He's going to lead that minion way forward. 17 seconds. GG should be using Hellish's health bar as like free real estate here. They should be letting him sponge Ezreal Q. They should be letting him be up on the wave. Let's see if they position around it. Does feel a little unnatural if you've not been a big Warmogs team before.
Right now we are seeing the push. They are getting that priority. As you said, they are starting to walk their way in. Unique though, and they start to get a little bit of poke down there. Not anything major. As you said, tanking out quite a bit of it. Cool, good on the evasion. And now Garden Gaming do have themselves in front of this dragon. However, there's the big stun. That's what they want. Dusty in trouble. Gonna have to get their way out, as now we do see on the backline the Rumble are going absolutely massive. Dead pound is super low, but not dead. Still a lot of damage can come in from range, as we see. But the aggression from Dusty almost gets them killed. They will finally go down in that forward movement. And Garden Gaming absolutely eviscerate the team fight. Triple kill to Mikkel, and now the Baron is on the cards.
The Garden well and truly flourishing here. They respect the setup. Fantastic from Uzol to respond to Hellish's Frozen Tomb, and left to right, cutting off the rest of Unique as they approach their mid laner to defend him. The reward will be this Baron. Losing the Cloud in trade is so-so. It's whatever. Garden Gaming, a team we weren't sure about, being able to get through the first 15 here in a brawl with our undefeated top of the table Unique Esports Club. They're taking Baron at 22.5 minutes. What a prize.
Absolutely massive. We talked about early game. They've done more, Temple. They've done more than just
Went
the early
further.
game. Now securing themselves a good mid game, and I said they're good on the team fights. They're a very solid team if they can get themselves in a good state, and Unique are starting to feel that. And now we start to call for the question of how do Unique come back into the game? How do they take the reins once again, because they are now finally in a gold deficit of 1.5k.
A reversal on gold as well. I think Unique's position, being slightly later into the river, which was Hellish using their Warmogs most effectively. They held the angle on mid. Did cause them to be behind a wall, and their slow approach was what led the equalizers being able to cut them off. They're going to go for a flank in an open position. They're going to do it well.
Nautilus in big trouble. Touch absolutely obliterated. The damage from the equalizer, plus the rest of the team just fueled in way too much of the Nautilus, and they're looking for more. Dusty in trouble. Dusty gone down, and now with the Baron, they can keep pushing.
I think a little disrespect on the damage there. Unique not expecting Garden to be so proactive, not expecting the nasty spike. Dusty dying with his flash still up. I understand Touch holding on to his. This Ezreal's meant to help out the wave clear. Dead Hand is out of mana once again.
Oh, and Dead Hand in big trouble here, getting closed down. Will be finally taken out. And that's 3. Temporal, they're just stacking them one by one, and they're going to spawn in different orders as well. They're not going to be cohesive as a 5-man unit, and this Baron buff is still being pushed.
A huge play. They're going to respect the timer there. I think he maybe could have pushed for one more, but Archfiend coming on the flank was how that original setup could have been lost. And looking at Unique's position, I was like, yeah, where's the Volibear? In top lane! No teleport available for him on this setup. He's instead meant to take over on all-ins. If he does meet Squidly or Mickle in the side lane, don't get me wrong, he will. But that's an if, not a when. And at this stage, Unique look like they want to play like a, you come into us, we do a little bit of a pincer movement and pick off your backline, but they can't survive the approach from Garden Gaming.
And I'm surprised they haven't gone for that heavy split push power, right? Like the Volibear can absolutely obliterate towers, especially in some of these later stages. And it feels like they're just kind of pulling short a little bit when they see the 4 members just pushing forwards. But I guess the response was to do with the inhib tower in mid. They don't want to give up. So right now, Garden Gaming, they're holding all of the power in this game, forcing Unique into some tough decisions. And the next one probably is going to be around the next objectives, right? 2 minutes 30 until Dragon, 3 minutes 10 until Baron Temporal. So maybe a little bit of dancing when both those objectives are up.
For sure. And as we come to the end of this Baron power play, what an absolute swing for Garden Gaming. You know, they started off the Baron, small gold lead, ended at 4,000, multiple towers down. It's going to inflate again here. If we count that, that's over 4,000 gold now, off of the back of Unique not respecting the damage under mid. And once again, they're going to get sieged upon by this team.
This time Archfiend is there, however they do not have Banistry, which obviously is quite a big target for locking down. Squidly though, taking so much damage from the poke alone that maybe the siege is already over.
Yeah, but only has to, I think, holding the position I'd have liked to Archfiend to hold off at the side. Volibear has to threaten with his presence, and it's sometimes a bit tough because it's a bit of a bluff in some ways. You know, you want the opponents to either fear it or come in and then go forwards, and you can't hesitate and do nothing. I think if Unique are going to come back in, looking at that dragon timer in 1 minute 20 seconds, they really have to push this bot lane. They have to be able to come in and not get stuck behind that river wall.
And is this it? Is this the game where Unique lose their streak? Admittedly, only 4 games. It's not the craziest streak that we've ever seen, but it is still their first loss if they do not manage to make this win. And now it's looking increasingly more and more likely because Garden Gaming, they're getting that momentum, Tipperall. They're looking strong. And if we now look at the timers, not long before this next Drake, and I feel like we're going to start to see some setup. Rumble pushing out the wave, but has TP.
Yeah, he's gotta get in and get over. I mean, Garden Gaming do at least have that advantage over Unique, who are running that teleport instead on Dead Hand. Choosing Archfiend for a little bit more 1v1 power. They've walked him in here and they see Squidly on the bottom lane, so Unique know they can push in.
And they're going for it. Hellish, the big target. There's a lot of health, but it's going down. And right now, the knockers are coming back in, and Uzo is doing so much damage. The Rumble is burning this team alive. Archfiend going to be the next to go down. Deadhound on the back line trying to fire off some poke, but it does not make a difference. Uzo with the Quadra and Dusty running for the hills.
The last member of Unique will run, and I think we're going to see a flash forward from Uzol for the Penta here. Will he go for it?
Penta, kill!
The delayed setup, the golden flamethrower of the Rumble. Garden Gaming descend on the base. A little bit of split decision making means they probably can't end this one as is. But from our middle of the pack team, we've highlighted they like to play their game their way. I looked at the composition and I was like, yeah, that's Garden Gaming every day of the week. They have executed a 7,000 gold lead at this stage. Domination through these team fights. They have just known what Unique were relying on. They have known the lines, and they get there faster every single time. Uzol, a massive performance dominating this top side. The Volibear said, I'm going to 1v1 you, bro. And instead, he's just stood up and made it all his own.
From the team fight, it looked good. It looked like Unique should be able to get a clean win there. For the rotations, the tempo, the damage coming out from Uzol, the equalizer alone, just eviscerating the health bars of Unique and just turning that fight around. And now, the closing statements of the game, potentially, if the Baron is secured. I don't really see what is stopping Garden Gaming from ending the game, but it's a big buff.
I do like they left the inhibitor quickly before this fight. Deadhound farming an inhibitor lane would start to turn around some of these fights. You know, the Hui is getting there in terms of damage.
Talking about damage, we're back again on the equalizer. The fight is being started and Archerine has gone down almost immediately. Unique trying to run for the hills, but they're not being allowed to get away. Another kill is secured. Deathhound is the one that is picked up, and Touch is not going to be far behind. Another rocket to the back. The Corki takes the kill, and 5 members in the base. Unique have to face reality. This is going to be their first loss.
GG didn't pull any of the waves. There is maybe a moment where Dusty can clear this.
Dusty trying to get a bit of space, trying to buy some time. Battle History doing the best to help them peel, but it does not matter. The damage is too much. They take the tower, they take the base, and they take the game. The first loss for Unique delivered.
Congratulations, Garden Gaming. What a show. What a performance. There's such pressure against you when you go against an undefeated team, and you know we've said they've looked good in their victories. It didn't look close against anyone except, you know, if you ask Skyclash, maybe Rich Gang, maybe if you have the angle. Garden Gaming played for their zone, and in their zone looked undefeatable.
Garden Gaming, I said it before, right? I think they're a team that has a lot of potential, right? If they can get themselves to that mid game, they can win a game, right? They are very good on the team fight, very solid on the late game, and they proved it all here, right? They showed exactly what I was talking about. They were able to equalize with Unique. They were a little bit behind, but they were able to give themselves some opportunities. They got a couple of good picks. A couple of things did go in their way as well, like the steal on that dragon, definitely going to ease that pressure up. But all in all, they played the game out nicely. And I have to say, big hand to Uzol, right? Really, really showing up on Rumble. I think the whole team as a unit played well, but that pick, I think, really defined the game.
Really beautiful so to see their character carrying on from winning their regional league and, you know, getting up here through the circumstances that landed them up here in spring, and just to keep going. And it looks so good, and it's the same flavor. It's really nice.
And talking about flavor, we will be getting another interview from Garden Gaming. So with that being said, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a little bit of a chat, and then we'll be on to our final game of the day. We promised you an interview, and of course, it had to be only one name. Uzo, welcome into the stream. We got to kick it off with the first question. How
Yes.
does it feel to get the Penta?
I mean, it feels casual at this point. I mean, I got like Penta already, so it's nothing new for me, you know.
Nice, smooth. We spoke a little bit at the end of the game about how going up against like a Titan in first place, someone who hasn't lost a game, who's looked really strong so far, can either put pressure on or relieve pressure from a team. Because maybe you go in with no expectations and you just do your game, or maybe it's a chance to really mess with first place. What was the vibe in the team before going into this game?
Okay, so I was personally a bit scared of enemy top
Yeah,
because it's pretty high
he's
elo.
pretty good.
I
He's
mean,
pretty good.
we banned his Aatrox, and then we banned a lot of. I think we banned Ornn and Cassante for the Rumble. I think they thought we are flexing Rumble, even though we weren't, but we could
Yeah.
have. And I don't know. I think it was easier than I expected.
Okay, so reasonable respect, but you were
Yes.
like happy and ready to go.
Yes.
Okay, and with that being said, I got to ask a question, right? I got to ask this question because I've got to you guys now a lot, and you guys be looking like good day, bad day. It's completely different teams, right? Do you feel like you guys are starting to move towards a little bit more of kind of like your style? You're getting a little bit more consistency, or are you still kind of finding your feet of it?
I mean, the problem with our team was that with first two games we played with a substitute jungler that we haven't really scrimmed with a lot. And then then the games last week when we played with Hellish, he just came from vacation and just had, I think, like 8 TMS. He didn't really play League at all. And then he also DC'd mid-game. So I think we should be looking much stronger now, you know?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, yes.
So we're expecting more games like this, right? We're expecting more full gas, 20-minute explosion, late game team fights.
I mean, next game we prepared a draft where I get 2 pentakills, so it should be
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
that's an extra
Okay.
pentakill each
Yes.
game. We'll see how long that lasts.
Some would say overkill, but you know what? It's fair enough. They're always fun to cast, and thank you very much. Uzo, for coming through.
Overkill's only 4. It's
Yeah.
only
Yeah,
4
true.
in a row.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But thank you very much, Uzo, for coming through. Anyone that you want to shout out on this interview?
Snoop Dogg.
Okay,
Shout
fair
out
enough.
to
Yeah.
Snoop.
That's a
Yes.
different one. We haven't had that one before. So, with that being said, thank you very much, Uzo, for coming through. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we will have the final game of the day: Chaos versus Lazy in Life.
Okay, thank you.
And here we are back again, final game of the day. And I've got to say, we're not supposed to have favorites. I don't have any favorites at the moment. But Lazy in Life are really becoming up there for me because I genuinely just love the craziness of this team, okay? Specifically their support, right? I just want to give them a shout out because they just send it. And I love it, right? Sim has been making plays. I will say this right now. If you're a team playing against Lazy in Life, just don't give him Alistair. You know, it's looked incredible. He's had it twice. He's performed exceptionally on it. So that's what I'm looking forward to, Temporal. I'm looking for some Alistair. I'm looking for Sim to get that pick. I'm looking for Lazy Life to just send it the whole game.
It looks pretty magic to me. We've seen players across both of these teams in NLC 2 before this split. They look really strong. I think Milkshake, I kept calling him Milky Way in playoffs just gone. He is just that strong, even on picks that are a little bit fringe that I'd normally criticize. He understands the role, he understands the part of the team he has to play, and he excels where others simply deliver. It is absolutely fantastic to watch. Very excited for Lazy in Life. Chaos on the other side. We got Certified and Sniller back. We got Taxvig. These are big names. Nihis and Kezia as well. Absolutely fantastic to watch. I think this is a brawl of two teams that are going to be in our top four for me. Who else comes around them? Because we've just seen big shots from GG, 42 as well, looking good. That's going to be this close fight, I feel. And if Unique slip again, might not be them.
And I will say, Chaos, right, they also delivered one of the craziest games that we've seen so far in the season. So I will say, like, this could be a bloodbath, right? Prepare yourselves, people at home. This one may not be slow in the start. This one may just be full send, which, you know what, I'm here for. I'm fully down for that one because it's a lot of fun to cast. Now, I will say, Chaos, they've had a bit of an interesting one so far. I feel like they've kind of been that middle of the pack team. They are really kind of winning against some, losing against some that you kind of expect otherwise. But overall, I am interested to see how they play this one out, right? I think that there is a lot of potential with these players. As we've said, we've seen them a lot before, right? Some of them were in the NLC RPS as well. So definitely got a lot to give. Lazy in Life, though, there is just something about them that just seems like fun. However, I will say, they, to me, and I said this before, I think I said this to Rev, and he didn't really get what I was saying, which was, they are like calculated coin flippers, right? Like I think that they coin flip most of the game, but they also are very good at seizing that opportunity when they get it, right? So if the first things go well, then it will tend to snowball. But yeah, they do definitely risk it for a biscuit on that early game, but it seemed to work out for them so far.
Every now and again, they're just real bad at math, but only every now and again. Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. I think when you do sort of play that momentum style, I think it's fair to say I saw that on Milkshake on a Wukong game previously. It's like, you know, when you get a slim advantage, you will start to crush. But if you try and force that against strong players, and we're like, hey, Chaos, I'm pretty good, that might not be the easy way. You do have to temper that resolve. You have to, you know, if we're going to use the coin flip, you got to have your thumb ready and loaded. You can't go too soon, else it just might not work out.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking forward to, and I was suggested this when we last watched Lazy in Life play, because they picked Ezreal. Okay, they picked Ezreal, and I was like, oh man, like, that doesn't make sense. You picked Ezreal, Alistair. Like, what are you doing? They won the game. They kind of crushed it. So what am I talking about? But I want to see something like Samira, or like Nyla, or like someone that like goes in, you know. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm hoping that we maybe see a little bit of that energy coming forward, especially if we do get things like the Alistair. But so far, I've been having a lot of fun with this team. I think Lazy in Life definitely one of the more dangerous teams to come out in this setup, but we'll see how long that goes, right? Because teams might adjust. They might say, you know what, we are kind of getting what you're saying, because when we did see them play against Ruza, Ruza had really good vision, especially from that bot side of the map towards mid, that really stopped Sim being able to play the game that they wanted to. And when that started to slack off a little bit, the game really changed.
Okay. All right. So this is the way to temper that like eternal engage you mentioned, like the Alistair in the flank and the danger. Just to be aware and position around it. It's looking good. I'm looking down Chaos's games. I'm pretty impressed so far. Seems pretty neutral. Nothing really I'd pick out on the scoreboards here.
A lot of different picks as well.
Yeah, they do seem to still be on Skarner even after all this time. We've seen that mostly mostly banned. In fact, sorry, I take that back. They have been banning it themselves. Reading is hard, and I'm starting to get ill.
Yeah.
Clearly. Yeah, sometimes it's just that hard. Slightly greedier on junglers. We see Karthus, we see Kindred in their previous successes. A bit more Azir as well. Happy to see, you know, the Eternal Tidebringer Seraphine threat as well. Something a little less standard, a little more measured. And, you know, if you are stuck on those snap engages like Lazy and Life are, or, you know, you have that sort of crush momentum, Seraphine is very calming and slows all of that down to like an nth degree. So I'm pretty excited. These two are an exciting matchup. The more I think about it, the more they're like varying styles that they can actually bring, like interact with each other. This is a high octane matchup.
Okay, well, we don't want to
On
keep
that
note,
note,
just yet. We're gonna go for a quick break, so make sure you get a snack and be right back. We'll be here in about 2 to 3 minutes to get the draft going for the final game of the day. And we are back. We have turned up the heat. We've gone straight into draft, and we're seeing no Ezreal. So I'm a little bit happier already because I'm not going to lie, I just don't really like the pick that much.
I don't know.
It's good, but I just don't want to see it anymore.
It's giving shout out to Snoop Energy. This is the chaos. This is the fire that we need this evening. No more of that Ezreal rubbish, guys. In the NLC, in the north of Europe, we fight and we fight fierce. Just we don't take the bull by the horns.
I respect it. You know, I said it before. I don't think Chaos were listening. I think they just watched the game before because realistically,
I think they
it's
just
unreal.
knew.
Yeah,
So-
Alice
so-
is unreal when Sim plays it. So I
Yeah.
feel like getting rid of it makes sense. It also was banned when Lazy and Life did get their first loss. So maybe it is a little bit of a weakness in Sim's armor, but hopefully they can show us a little bit differently in the rest of the season. You know, no one wants to be a one-trick pony or a one-trick cow. You know, I guess that's even worse.
I think
but-
even from last split, like completely known for it, and absolute respect ban for sure. Last ban here, oh never mind, it will be the Tristana away. So with the Corki already gone, that sort of like coverage means Chaos is sort of being led by Laser here. So we'll see if this develops into what they want early doors on red side. That'll be quite exciting. Last ban here, probably going to fix a lane, will be the Azir. We have seen a bunch of Azir out from Chaos so far. So Lazy in Life not wanting to face up that control mage, and Skarner, the team that has been banning it all the way through, realize that with the Ezreal through, they can blue one that.
You know what? I respect the bans. They've kind of opened us up for some different stuff. Skarner being locked in, Talia, Brand, all of the AP junglers are open. Karthus is open as well. I know these teams like to play it. So there's so much that can be picked here. I'm very down to see what they decide to go for. The Seraphine hasn't played mid, you know, also played ADC by Tyler Bringer. So it's definitely a strong, flexible pick for the side of Lazy in Life. And
Yeah.
I imagine they're going to pick up some team fight. That's what I'm really expecting from them.
I'm loving the anti-approach as well. The Skarner lock-in is a soft Cassante ban. You can't really succeed with that fighter in the top lane up against the Skarner. And while Skarner has been falling down the rungs of our imaginary tier lists and ladders worldwide, because he, after the nerfs, does not stand up quite so well, still not being able to approach your opponents is a point of pain for the Spider. Milkshake Xin Zhao is absolutely fantastic. This is the Chinese style we like. The precision strikes in the mid game. But Chaos, I think the ball delivery system's looking pretty good here.
Yeah, because let's played it before. It has looked very strong. I think that it works out pretty well. Wombo combo, especially into a team like Lazy in Life, who so far have just shown they want to team fight you, seems to be a pretty apt decision, and I like it a lot, right? I also like that Xin Xiao, as you said, go for that early game, get yourself ahead. I am really pondering, though, what is going to be played against this Skarner, because I haven't seen Skarner played in a while. It's been basically permabanned. I do wonder what the counter is, and now with the Leona, they're just stacking the team fight.
I was about to call for a Jarvan lock-in there, because I really like the way Jarvan lines up into Xin Zhao, the way you play out that fight. It gives you the reliability at all stages to reach the Seraphine with something. Ahri, sort of a direct attack on Orianna. I think it's fine, but Ahri, Xin Zhao really does have to get the ball rolling. If they go neutral into the late game, they are behind without a consistent way to play it forwards. And they do expose themselves later on to counterattack if they are not sufficiently fed. Bans here must go towards Chaos's jungle. I think their approach into the Ahri and being able to break that 2v2 is critical. Team fights, I feel like you've already got the anti-approach. I don't feel like you need to get onto the Jinx.
I'll be honest. I feel like we're not going to get to the late game with Lazy in Life, you know. And if we do, they've either crushed it or they're super far behind. So I will say I think that them worrying about whether Ahri and Xin Xiao fall off is probably not super on their mind, because the game will probably be over before then. So I think for them it makes a lot of sense. We're seeing a couple of bans that come through. Camille taking away, so it's kind of not wanting to take on that challenge. The Jinx and the Smolder banned away from Lazy in Life, so taking away some of those hyper carries.
Certified, you've with your hypercarry performances, you've earned this respect ban. If you turn all the plates off, there is no way that isn't 2 jungle bans to make this Ahri Xin Zhao absolutely rocket through. You still hold support pick for Lazy in Life. You've still got the Seraphine flexibility, and even then, the absolute respect there is crazy. That is earned. There is no other way to sell it. Skarner can fall down to some range in the top side or some wave burn. That Karma likely to be going towards the bottom lane would help out. Keep the Leona at arm's length. I can't help but think Nautilus is a bit of a blunder here, and it won't be locked in as such. The Rakan something more mobile instead. Final picks coming through. Want Lazy to be able to push the wave and not interact with the Skarner. Multitude of ways you do that. If you're really based Lazy in Life, looking you in the eye now, Lissandra Topper dominates Skarner.
Okay, that would be a lot of magic damage.
It's like
I'll be honest.
42% in Masters Plus. She absolutely crushes him.
Like Seraphine Ari and Lissandra though. Like I feel like
you're not allowed to
yeah,
approach.
that's a lot. But it's actually going to be the Skarner in the jungle. So
Ooh, don't know how I feel about
switching it up,
that.
keeping it fresh.
He's going to be stuck not approaching bot lane and probably not approaching mid unless the Ari overextends. We'll keep an eye on that, see how that goes. Lock in here in the bot lane. You know, Cogmore is on the table. Sivir the choice. All right, I wasn't convinced with the Harbor, but it is the way it goes. And I guess it does help the approach. It helps the Renekton bridge the gap with that flash from a little bit further away and will help the Skarner just be a little more precise, be a little faster coming forward.
It makes me feel though that Chaos have just said we're down just to play for the late game. So that's an interesting one in itself because
that's what happens when you flex your Skarner away a little bit too soon. Alas.
Well.
Oh well.
It's
such is life.
Time.
Star's really good at K'Sante. This is going to be pretty exciting because you know this is another matchup similar to the Camille, where like sure if things go well and you play around the Camille or the Renekton sort of as much as you'd expect, then they will win and you know have that advantage. K'Sante in the 1v1, of course, at this level can overwhelm and overforce that lane on his own. Particularly, the odds of that go up a bit more. It's not as easy against Renekton as it is against Camille, but we'll keep an eye on Starter because he's had some of those K'Sante moments.
You know what? I'm interested. I'm interested by how Lazy Life have picked here. It's not the most cohesive unit, I would say. Like, yes, you have stuff, a lot of fights. There's a bit of pick. There's a bit of team fight.
There's a lot of expression here. There's a lot of your personality has to show through. If that Xin Zhao does not bridge top and mid, good lord, they are in trouble when a 400 CS Sivir comes running towards them.
Yeah, so I guess in a way, Lazy Life have thrown the gauntlet of like, we are going to play early and win. And if we don't, we will just lose the game, which is, you know what? It's very on brand for them.
I don't think they have to win it super fast. I think that criticism sort of falls away with the K'Sante a little bit. They will have these units that sort of can attack and jump on people. The Orianna will remain vulnerable throughout the game. I think if Azonia's comes through, it's sort of an admission that bot lane will have to do a lot of the heavy lifting instead of something more like, I think, Blackfire's Death Cap, just that extra double percentage bonus on the AP really goes hard on these mages right now. The extra shield, the extra bonus, the bird on everyone. It's really powerful. I think we're going to see it sort of spread through pro a little more over time, because if you don't go punished, it's just so efficient, so powerful. And looking at these teams, I think that's the way Chaos should be going. They should be maximum meeting the expression of Lazy in Life. You know, it's like, we're going to play this pretty fierce. I think they have to keep up the fighting, even if it's not fast. And that's going to have to be the checkpoint where Chaos say like, we respect this. We see the line. We're going to show up here with this many people, delay an objective, fight an objective when, you know, you got numbers. It's going to be very interactive gameplay.
Okay, well, I'm here to see it. Hopefully we're going to be getting into games soon. I feel like Lazy in Life are raring to go, and Chaos, they're looking to even out their scoreboard right now, sitting at 2 and 3. Had some tough matches. Let's play against Unique, Garden Gaming. It's definitely been a little bit of a tough schedule. Lazy in Life, though, so far still just on the early doors. They've only played 3 games. They're actually a little bit behind the pack in terms of actual momentum of games played. They are going to be looking to increase their scoreline to actually be closer on Unique now that Unique have lost. So definitely a lot to play for here in terms of just the scoreboard alone. But I'm very interested because I'm so surprised how much the composition for Lazy in Life has changed.
Yeah, it's sort of twisted out there. It's not quite the same. I sort of regret jinxing at the start of the day, like that scoreboard comment. It's like, yeah, we're gonna sort this out. No, it's getting messier. It's getting worse as we go. So well, maybe everyone's just really talented, and we can just get away with like the complete they're all really good.
I will say, I think this is the closest Div 2 we've had, and it's in a good way as well. I feel like all of the teams are kind of like getting themselves together pretty early on. They're all being quite competitive, and we're going to see a competitive game right now. Let's get into this one. On to the roof for the final time today. Final game. And here we go. No more frog. We're going to get the, is that like a, is it
it's like a fennec fox. Oh, the snail. Snail's my choice. Look at him go. Absolute unit. Oh, there's
Where is our
two.
producer finding these? I've never even noticed these. I've played so
I do.
much League.
I noticed them like flick away because most of these creatures are like an absolute vision check. We're gonna do a little bit of learning now. Everyone at home. If you walk through a piece of the jungle where one of those is normally there and it's disappeared, it's because he's been scared away by someone else. So it is like a check on someone not being present. Like for instance, as soon as we go over those frogs, we haven't quite gone past them in the river yet. They will hop away if you pass over them.
Sim, they're going for that invade.
All right, maybe it's a spectator thing. Maybe I'm the worst. Both of these things possibly true.
But we're seeing Lazy go for an invade, which is pretty massive at the moment.
It's pretty bold.
This would be
certified.
go.
Oh no. Oh, this is risky. Bit of an odd position to hold. Does cover you, I guess, from a flash charm, but I wouldn't expect Pibble to go for that here.
The path into lane. It's like, stop moving.
If they're patient, they might get Sniller on the approach. Oh, I think they showed.
They did show certified has been contacted. It's going to be able to walk away. We'll take a little bit of health, but nothing crazy. And I'm a little bit surprised that Lazy went so early. I feel like they could have bought a little bit of time or just gone straight for the buff. But either way, we are going to see Milkshake starting on the bot side of the side for Taxvig, which is going to be an interesting one because now pathing is going to be called into question. Obviously, pathing wise, realistically, Taxvig going to have the option of going up to the top lane early, but giving up the option for bot side.
I like the chip damage onto bot achieved with this. Tidebringer and Sim's health bars are way deeper than Sniller and Certified's, and just reducing that a little bit more at the start of the game feels really nice. That's quite powerful. I'm not sure about pushing Taxvig to topside. I think an early gank on this Kazante is like a real threat. If Nihus is level 3 when Taxvig comes to finish this next rotation, he's going to be in real trouble.
Yeah, now Spell Shield first for Sivert as well. Definitely a little bit interesting. We'll give it a little bit less power early on as Milkshake has almost finished this bottom side of the map and could be in gank range, but I think they're just too close to that tower already.
Yeah, I think Leona early doors, even still at level 1, is normally enough to turn around a gank. So you have to be super careful approaching that lane. I don't think the dive setup is here. I think Chaos not having the health on Taxvig for some reason. He's still level 2, so we took E at level 2 for clear speed. I think that's what we're missing. I think we're missing the shield throughout the clear. A little discoordinated, and even though he's passed over a greater amount of terrain, doesn't have the health bar to execute anything here. Bit of a missed opportunity, perhaps.
Yeah, and all quiet after that play. So far, no ganks happening. Maybe a little bit of discoordination between the two sides. Obviously, knowing that your jungler is going to be on the top or bot side could have maybe changed how you play the laning phase. But I guess also good reaction from the opposite team, as we are going to see Sim already on the roams in mid lane. Get used to this, people. This is a Lazy Life to AT.
Yeah, he's not required in the bot lane right now. Seraphine really good at wave clearing nicely from a decent range, so minimal losses, and fantastic recall has everyone from Lazy in Life arriving in time to catch this wave and perhaps raise a little bit of a rabble.
Sniller is walking straight into them. Gonna have to flash away here. That will definitely be leading to Milkshake ganking once again into that bot side, but this time it's still going to lead to anything of success. Definitely pressure already being applied, and Lazy in Life sticking to their game plan as we're used to seeing.
Yeah, a little micro victory. Can't argue with it at all. You get a medium amount for low investment. That's all right. That's decent bot lane economics.
Classes that you can't get in school right now, but maybe in the future, who knows? But
He's starting to go low here.
Yeah, definitely starting to take strata to class. But as we said, Kazante, once they get that level 6, can change the whole game. So I do think there's still a lot of time in that lane left. And talking about time, Kajila is not going to be having a good time because there are going to be a lot of members in their lane throughout this whole game. You have to get used to it. This is the Lazy and Life classic. Mid lane is just a gank ground. And Nihui, nice rotation down to block the gank, but has taken a lot of HP themselves and also mid laner too. So Kajila also having the most fun. Talking about fun though, certified with an early kill.
Sniller the sniper there, absolute moves. Oh, the flash!
Flash forward and Chaos are just taking them hand to hand, toe to toe. As Lazy in Life, they go aggressive, but so do Chaos.
I was about to call out that, you know, Lazy is starting to grind out a little advantage there. 2 ganks, 2 flashes burn.
It's the worst time to drink a drink. Any time the Lazy Life are on the game, because fighting does ensue once again. Chaos still holding on to a bit of a lead, bit of a notion of control. I gotta say this. I said this earlier, right? Lazy in Life, they are super aggressive, but if a team can match them and turn around those early bits of aggression, it can start to go very wrong. So I am interested to see how this plays out, because I imagine the Lazy in Life are not going to keep slowing down. I think they're going to speed up.
Yeah, they're running down towards bot here. I'm hoping Chaos aren't here to try and catch this wave. It would be a mistake to stay. This is the interactive gameplay we're looking for. Chaos raised the bar. Nilla sending in deep into the bot lane, taking away a flash, taking away a life. Big win for them at this stage, and I think just disrupting Milkshake before level 6, this stage where he is meant to be a decent amount stronger than Taxfig, by walking into a lane. It's that presence that has won them those flashes. Slowing him down here feels really good for Chaos.
Strato getting a couple of nice trades, but we'll have to respect the fact that there is potential for roams. Obviously, we do see the Grubs being targeted by Chaos and looking to increase their early lead. So, with that being said, I think Grubs will be secured, and at the moment, Milkshake isn't in any sort of rush to do Dragon.
No, the only cost for Chaos over the last few seconds to evade that gank was just to drop a wave in bot side. It's going to feel really nice when they equalize it now. They are on the board objective-wise, and while Lazy will start this up, I can't help but feel this isn't the momentum they were looking for.
Yeah, it doesn't have to occur from the start. I think they will be pretty aggressive throughout the rest of the game. But Certified securing a kill early, I think definitely not on the playbook they would have written up before this game. Especially without any return for Tidebringer.
Yeah, the Seraphine, not sort of the super, like, unlike Snilla there, who just, like, snatched the kill out of thin air by a bit of presence to the Leona. Time to kill on Tidebringer is quite high. You want these long, drawn-out fights. You want to grind marginal advantages through your health bar. It's not quite as able to snatch something. It needs Milkshake. It needs the Xin Zhao in front of it to gain that ability to spike someone down in a team fight. Oh no.
Strato gets in front of Nihui, takes him under the tower, and has taken it pretty low. The ghost here has been utilized, and Strato is trying to get into range, dashes forward, gets the dash, and gets the kill. And Cassante, ladies and gentlemen, is alive.
He's done it again. It's not a blitzcrank hook, but it feels much the same. A tower shot for Nihui. Pulled forwards, backwards, under the tower, and Kajia.
Kajila. It's not a 1 versus 1 lane, but they will survive, and Taxfig
He's got him!
Turns it all around, the grab, the impale, the kill. Taxfig, the hero, and Kajila does not go down. Patuma goes down. Tidebringer is once again on the ground. We're Certified with another kill.
Smooth moves from Kajila there. Drew it out with the shockwave on top of themselves, slowed everything down. And I think the last 30 seconds, the moral is respect Leona, because she's built like a tower, and respect the towers, because they're built like killers.
Yeah, tower MVP for that last play. As right now, Chaos are looking pretty strong. They're quite happy with this early tempo. They've taken themselves up 1.5k gold. They're up objectives as well, at least on the Grub point of view. And they are very much happy with how this has gone. The only downside to them at the moment is the fact that Nihui was solo killed. So Strato definitely going to be a ferocious member to deal with later on.
Yeah, it's, you know, it was foretold the Cassante moment could happen. The Renekton has been left largely on his own. And that the advantage you can get out yourself versus a Cassante as like a non-ranged, non-abusive champion into him is just so small that these plays happen. He's still so powerful in the hands of these skilled players.
And I do wonder how Lazy Life are adapting to the fact that their early game prowess hasn't gone as planned, right? I didn't see their loss, and obviously they weren't able to really get that same momentum as what I've seen on the 2 games I have watched. So it does beg the question of how do they do when they're behind or when their plans don't work, and they are going to keep the plans going, but the Skarner is in close vicinity as well, so can Nihui just buy quite a lot of time here? Dashes away. The charm not going to land. Skarner will tank that one up with his face, and now going to push back the Jin Zhao. They've taken them aggressively, and yes, Kazante has got in, but I don't know if it's going to be the best plan. 1-for-1 so far, and Taxvik still very, very dangerous, and if there was a roam from Kajila, maybe it could have been a 3-for-1.
You know, Orianna just teleporting back to lane. A little bit of a missed opportunity. Lazy get away with the dive. Full, I believe, the extended 1-for-1. And they did have to commit more. So anything Kajila got there in mid. It's a massive win. The Orianna starting to scale up.
Oh, look at the damage! Look at the damage! Certified absolutely blasts through Seraphine's health bar, and the Rakan just has to run. Sim is going the different way to what we usually see. He is not going forward, he is running away, and will not die! The flash will effect!
No crit, unfortunately, on the Ricochet. Milkshake has arrived.
Oh no, Certified, it's all gone wrong. 500 shutdown. Instead of going to be jumping back in, but Sim playing with fire, but does not get burned. 2 kills secured back on a little bit of a misstep from Chaos.
Yeah, they overextend there in the bot lane. They didn't really need it. They are securing objectives in the top side. The top lane is stable for now. There was a ward down in mid that spotted Bibble's last 2 roams. You know, Chaos set up for this. Just a little more. They have the timing. They have the vision. They just need to maybe take the win and just let it be.
Maybe would have worked out better because now Pyro is 3-0, but the damage from Kajila, aggressive flash forward, is not going to be able to get the kill, and Sim coming in time, and Tower just being a little bit too dangerous is going to force back the aggressor. But Lazy in Life definitely got their work cut out for them in this game. Scrapping is occurring, but it's not all going their way.
Man, Chaos, you know what I said about, like, taking it and winning? Kajila just dropping their flash on top of Pibbles there. Probably not getting away with this.
Yeah. That's what you get.
Good
That's
effort.
what you get
Good
for
effort.
not having your flash.
Yeah, not enough damage to clear camps with just a mana item at the moment. Will be a little harder to assail for that Seraph's Embrace later on, but it does not offer the damage.
Yeah, if anyone wanted a back and forth league game tonight, this is where it will be at. The pendulum is swinging multiple times already. Dragon going to be secured by Lazy.
Still, let it go.
Let it go. You feeling it? You feeling it?
Still it goes where he pleases is what I'm taking from this. That is the absolute stones to just walk up there and be like, yeah, I can contest this. Am I on my own? Is everyone else visible on a minion wave? Yeah, I'll do it anyway.
They don't know it's just me.
Do they know? Just absolutely fearless play from Chaos' support here. Once again, standing up in the bot side. We'll be looking to dive Tidebringer. Shim, once again, you know, it's past wave 1. Decent chance he's not here on the bot side. With that, Chaos push in. I think there's a reasonable gold here on Certified. Let's see if they go for that Infinity Edge here first. Pretty sure it is.
Oh.
There you go. Nice and easy. I'm enjoying the move to Infinity Edge first away from the Kraken Slayer globally. More damage, more fun.
Yeah, Nuhi. Probably not too happy about more damage because right now the Kazante is doing a lot of it, and here comes the Xin Zhao. However, he's able to slice and dice their way underneath the tower, so should be safe for now. It looks like they might actually be staying because their jungler and mid is starting to move up top. But Lazy, they said, you know what? We've been bitten a little bit by over rotations, so we're going to just set ourselves a little bit steadier.
Yeah, Bibble's just chilling. Slight lull state here, a few minutes on both of the objectives. I think we do have the next set of grubs coming up. Nope, sorry, the Rift Herald. I can count to 14 minutes. Neither team probably wants to stick their neck out for this. They probably want to fight first, try and find a way forwards, and if you lose it, it's not the end of the world. Said Lazy in Life, see this push in the bottom side, and they're going to try and collapse. I think the Sivir of all AD carries should be able to walk out of this one nice and fast. Boots 2 already through, and the ultimate in hand.
Yeah, no worries for them. And Tatsvig, with that, seeing a lot of people in the bot side, is just going to go straight for the Rift Herald. So far, Chaos has dominated the neutral objectives in the top side, so not too surprising that they're going to go for the third one, on the map. And right now, no real rebuttal coming out from Lazy in Life, which I'm a little bit surprised about, slightly on the top side, because of how strong Strato was against Nevi.
I think as soon as you throw more people than just the Renekton in, the K'Sante is going to start to struggle. It is sort of coming through as one of the pick's big weaknesses now. In 1v1, he lives in that comfort zone on his health bar. And unless you really risk it, will just 1v1 a champion. But as soon as you get much more CC through and multiple people to target, you can kite him around, cause him some stress. It hasn't converted for those team fights. Sniller and Kagila, excuse me, running down to this bottom side, making Tidebringer work for it.
Oh, Tidebringer. Oh no, going low. Will flash away. Sin now on the play though, and Bible also coming through. Charms are aplenty. The Chaos are able to hold their nerve a little bit longer. They're starting to walk out, but Kajila may not make it out alive. First picked up, but Bible able to dash over the wall. Taxwing not able to get onto the Ari, and now in a bit of a difficult situation. They're still being chased down by Strato, but will it be enough? Milkshake trying to finish off the Skarner, but the Scorpion is very tanky, but will finally fall down.
I think that's the anti-approach from Lazy in Life that we called out in draft. Seen to its best. Great engage from Chaos, but they did go once again to this tier 2 tower. It is just too deep and allows Lazy in Life to respond in kind too easily.
Damn, Pibble is quite strong at the moment.
Yeah, pretty powerful. The Malignant's coming through and a little extra shock damage on top.
We're not done, Simple. We
No,
have another fight on our hands.
Snill is
Milkshake, Sim,
just going.
and Kajila all going at it in the jungle, but they do have to watch out. Strato is still in the vicinity. And you know what? It was all over a red buff.
Yeah, 2v1 there for Sniller. You'll notice his health bar completely full. This Leona does not care. The Warmogs is through.
Oh, and Strato may make them care a little bit now, though, because that's a lot of tower shots Sniller is taking. One more will do it, and that's the solo kill. And now you said the 1v1s, they like it, certified. What's going to be the next target? Strato will understand their limits. Walks away, but Chaos starting to crumble in this high tempo. Lazy in Life, they like being in this chaos. They like being in the mess, the crazy gameplay. It's starting to work out for them.
All right. I think it's just been the damage checks and the respect. It's again.
Or lack of respect from Lazy. I feel like they don't care. They will just fight you, and they will kill you. Tidebringer pick up another kill.
And the amount of people that have died behind that tier 1 turret in bot, alive or not, that's something I think Chaos are going to have to look for. We asked for interactive gameplay, maybe a little too deep at this stage. We'll get
This is what we call Div 2, a kill a minute. Almost
yeah, we're going. Dragon up as well, teleport advantage here to Chaos. They should feel comfortable moving forwards. That Sivir is an absolute lethal weapon, and while they don't have their mid, they do have their top laner.
Yeah, no TP for Strato either, so Renekton can make it a 5 versus 4, but needs to be careful. The K'Sante is trying to close them down, will not get there though, and now the Renekton is available to make it a 4 versus 4, but the charm goes through massive. The Encore catches out so many, and Taxwing has gone down. Nibi now trying to get into the middle of the fight, gets absolutely massive, but will drop the same, and Sniller just cannot make it happen. Falls for a third, and on the back line, we do have the K'Sante finally in there, certified, being dragged along the ground, taken out of the fight. Kajila trying to get back into the fight to help them. The shockwave holds them steady, and they will be able to finally kill off the top laner. But Lazy take 3 kills, they take a dragon, and they're now 1 away from Soul Point Temporal.
Despite that teleport coming in, the mid laner missing the bridge they needed to approach through Seraphine. Beautiful ultimate from Tidebringer. Holds everyone at bay. Lazy in Life, they're having a great time right now, kiting backwards, target selecting whoever jumps slightly too far forwards. 3 dragons, and no doubt they're going to get a Baron set up. The gold lead isn't massive, but the compositional difference starting to show. If Chaos aren't together, if they can't spread wide, they are getting picked off on the approach.
Chaos, I feel like they need to find a way back into the game. Because it's
they gotta come together, they gotta go wide. Sniller can do so much and sponge so much damage, and I think unless Kajiri and Taxvig come through on one fork and Certified is able to space out so that they don't all get encored, so that Pibble and Milkshake can't select a target and remove them from the map. It's a really difficult setup. Taxvig.
Still wants to set up tactic. He's trying to set up a play here, but Pybel maybe not the one that you can kind of close in on, and they do have to worry about Strato is still just pushing that bot side.
They've won the position at least. Lazy Life having to commit a control ward. Bit of a concern. Teleport available now for Kedula. This is sort of the right assignment to teleport up and contest, but Milkshake, moving Sim up with him, will start this 2v1.
Ooh, goes to the steal. I believe that it may have gone through as well. They did get the blue buff, but now Milkshake, are they in a bit of trouble? Will be able to buy some time with Crescent Guard as Sim goes in, will pay for their life, but here comes the rest of the team, and was it enough? Was the setup there? The encore goes wide, but it may not matter. 2 kills for Lazy in Life already. And they do trade it for their support. Certified Kajila still available to fight. Nihui also in the vicinity, so I don't think Baron would be on the cards just yet.
No, despite all of that lockdown, Chaos could not get the wombo combo together. I think a slight boomerang blade off to the side, but even then wouldn't have made a huge difference. You see the wombo combo come together.
Nihui is going to get the chase on to Tidebringer. Does manage to get a little bit of damage, but not enough to really threaten their life. And okay, Baron maybe not going to be the big target for Lazy in Life right now, because at the same time, Dragon is only 2 minutes away. If they can secure that, it's a massive buff for their team.
If we look down the scoreboard at this stage, I think you're right highlighting Pibble. That spike damage from the ultimate, the first auto attack following it, is going to be absolutely nasty. Wait to see who they pick off on the approach. Taxvig and Snilla, it's their job to try and secure some vision here, walking up once again. Despite the recalls, I don't think they're going to push too far in here. They'll get the minion wave. There's some vision. Not comfortable walking towards the Raptors, though. They are just respecting the potential that Milkshake could be around a corner. Off of vision right now.
Taxvig, maybe a little bit less respect being shown. Was trying to get the steal onto that blue buff as Strato threatening Kajila, but it is a little bit tough for them to chase down that Orianna. It's not the easiest member to try and catch up to.
Very, very healthy with the Leandru Seraphs. It is, I guess, the advantage of this build. You know, I bemoaned anything that wasn't Blackfire plus Rabadons earlier. And while that would be like a huge spike that knocks Milkshake or Pibble out of a fight, it wouldn't keep the Cassante at bay. It wouldn't allow Kedula to be this resilient in a side lane. So this is working to its own end.
Dragon up in 58 seconds. A real big moment for Chaos in their neutral objective claims. This would be the sole point for Lazy in Life if they can secure it. And everyone is starting to mobilize. The Cassante still doesn't have TP, so will need to make their way down shortly. But Pippo in that bot side does have their TP, although they will not need it. So a little bit of an interesting positioning from Lazy in Life in general, I guess, with their laners. But with the Hex Gates, should get everyone there for the right time.
Right. Chaos have the ability to check and to complete with a Solar Flare. Chaos. Taxvig moving through.
Oh, Milkshake in a bit of a tough situation. Does the Crescent Guard though can buy some time, and there's the encore! Absolutely massive in the backline! But where's the damage to follow it? One has already gone down, and a big impale is going to hold the team still, but it's not enough. Chaos need to get the damage out, but the frontline is too tanky temporal. They're diving through the whole map, and Lazy will wipe the floor with Chaos.
A huge setup there, the impale, unfortunately, bringing Milkshake forwards, the drag onto an encore. I don't even think Taylor Swift could sing out that beautifully. The setup there for Lazy in Life allows them to play through. No consistent DPS. Meet Cassante. Meet the Seraphine, able to absolutely blast Chaos from the map. The setup around this Baron will be their prize. The Dragon has just spawned. We'll see if Lazy want to force another fight. Their ultimate's such low cooldown that all of them more than half reset already. Pings onto this Dragon as they extend further. 7,000 gold.
Big decisions being made, TPs being utilized. They do not want to give this one up for free. They are saying, Chaos, no. We are ready to go for round 2. We've had our minute breather. We are back in form. And Kajila could be in big trouble here. Gets hit with a charm, will be obliterated. And now Lazy in Life are up numbers and are ready for the soul point.
A little bit of desperation. Chaos stretched to the edge now, feeling the bite back on their previous engage. Will be routed from this Dragon. This going over. Lazy in Life made a game that was close but tense. An absolute bloodbath. 8,000 gold now. The lead after they pick up this next minion wave. I think lazy, not a good descriptor for the controlled way they've gone through this game. They've let Chaos dive them under towers. They've let them have that position. And despite a few snap losses in lane, the Lazy in Life unit looks so powerful right now.
Yeah, we've said this a couple of times. Lazy, maybe they're lying to us with their name. It definitely doesn't feel like it. But right now, they are able to start pushing this tempo. Baron buff in 2 waves at the moment, setting up in a 4-1. Oriana going to be sent down to deal with Hibble, but I don't know if it's going to be enough right now. The Ori is so dangerous, so they might even send Nihui as well.
I think maybe you need to. The Oriana won't go down so fast, but she also won't be able to push back and has been engaged upon.
Milkshake going aggressive. In comes the Ari, the damage raining in, and there's no rebuttal from the Oriana, and they're looking for more. Skarner absolutely deleted, felt like they weren't even a tank, and now the towers are going to fall as well. Happily going to leave Strato in the solo side of it as well, leaving them in the mid lane, and they're going for more in the bot side. Milkshake on the side will be able to get the kill off with the Hextech, and it looks like this could be game!
Brutal in victory, Lazy in Life. Take 1, take 2, they'll take the whole shelf. Chaos, unfortunately, unable to stand up to that long, drawn-out team fight. The pick potential was there, and the health bars of Lazy look barely scratched as they'll demolish the Nexus.
Lazy in Life's gameplay is like a dam that has been built not so well. Realistically, you can hold them back for a little bit of time, but you cannot hold them back forever. They will crash through, and they will destroy anything that is in their path. Temporal, they have done it again! And this is exactly why I like watching them play League of Legends.
It's beautiful. Just like Garden Gaming before them, that was a very Chaos draft. Oh, sorry, that was a very Lazy in Life draft. We had the Seraphine bot lane. We had a spiky 2v2. I didn't give Milkshake as much individual praise because of a little staggering of their gameplay in the first few minutes. But you look at the scoreboard at the end, and they've earned it. The mid 2v2 spikes hard once again. The bot lane soaked an immeasurable amount of pressure, and the top lane on its own turned itself around. The tide of that game could not have gone better for them.
It was absolutely immense. Lazy in Life pick up another win, take themselves to 3-1, closing the distance between the top of the table. Chaos needs to go back to the drawing board and figure some things out. But we are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, someone from Lazy in Life will be here to give us the final interview of the night. Welcome back for the final time tonight. We will welcome in Milkshake the Jungler coming in from Lazy in Life. What a great game. You guys are really winning it in my favorites at the moment just because I think you guys are so fun to watch. I've got to ask, the first question on the board, it's been on my mind. Is your whole strategy just we will fight and essentially we will win the game, or we will just turbo lose the game? Is that really what's going on in the minds?
Well, I mean, kind of. So we just draft for more of our comfort. Of course, a bit for the meta as well, but we are not really scrimming. I think we've done 2 scrims overall in 2 splits. So the practice is more like in the official games. And what worked in the official games last time also works this time. So yeah, we just ball.
If it ain't broke, I guess don't fix it. Talking of which, we sort of had an interview at the previous tournament about how like your style and like you being on the champion that has to throw themselves in head first. And while your team does play these like MMO style comps where like you have a tank and a healer and a DPS and like these 3 roles that continuously sustain each other and make their job easier. Do you think it's going to be enough going all the way through the split? You're just going to stick to it, or you think we're going to try something new in a little while?
So yeah, in this game specifically, I actually thought about switching it up a bit because they first picked Skarner, and I'm quite a Skarner player myself. Like, I'm never getting it, so yeah. But they first picked Skarner, and Skarner is generally weak against AP champions such as Lilia, Morgana, stuff like that, Zyra. But yeah, there were quite a few bans towards AD mid laner, and we didn't want to force AD mid.
I saw the flicker of Jungle Morgana. I had to try so hard not to talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe next time. We'll see.
Maybe next time. That's all right.
Okay, well, you've been in NLC Div 2 for 4 weeks. Well, 4 games now, not 4 weeks. We're in week 3, but 4 games now you've played. How does it compare to kind of now that you've come up? Because obviously you guys made it through the RPS system. You guys obviously played a league in the division below. How is NLC Div 2 kind of feeling for you? Do you feel like it's a big step up from what you guys were used to, or do you feel very comfortable where you are and you actually might even be pushing to go further?
Well, I mean, I can only talk about my perspective because there might be some players in the team which aren't as experienced, such as myself or our bot lane, which are also like very old. So we're like the 3 old players, and then we have mid lane and top lane, the solo laners, which are the young players. So maybe they are a bit more. Yeah, this is new, this is different, but at the moment it doesn't feel so different for me. At least the level is not as high as I would have thought. Maybe the RPS was basically around the same level, so we should be fine. We didn't play against Unique. I think they will be stronger than the other teams, but yeah, we will see.
You've sort of mentioned that the level is, I think it's still pretty good for what I expected from an LC2, but you're right that it's pretty flat. I think everyone sort of has a decent time expressing their own game, which is, not always the easiest thing and normally quite a struggle for some teams. So it's pretty exciting. With that said, are you going to win it all? Are you going to take it to Unique? What do you reckon the final standing of Lazy in Life looks like?
To be honest, we had no real expectations going in the split. I don't think we have any real expectations now. We probably think about aiming towards like top 3 maybe, because that's where the aim should be. But it's not like a strict goal. If we're not making top 3, we're gonna be all trying in our basement. So we just
being a bit detached from it isn't necessarily a bad thing. The extra frustrations sometimes a bit too much, but good to hear we're quietly aiming high. We're thinking about it. That's good, and I think you guys can probably pull it off.
You always have to have a goal.
Either way, I love watching you guys. I'm definitely looking forward to more Lazy in Life action. I just love the high intensity, the high kills, the big team fights. It's just a banger in my book. But final thing to say, anyone you want to shout out, Milkshake, before we let you go?
shout out to my team.
Fair play.
Shout out to my mother.
Okay, very
which is
awesome.
always watching when she can. So yeah.
Shout out Mrs. Milkshake, Miss Milkshake, Milkshake Mom. There we go.
Yeah. There we go. But either way, thank you very much for coming through the interview. We're going to take it to Meat and Temporal now on the screen. And we had some interesting shout-outs here, some wholesome stuff there from Milkshake. We also had a shout out to Snoop Dogg earlier. You know, so shout out to Snoop Dogg. You know?
Shout out Snoop Dogg.
from
Shout out
Resort.
Steel Series and Kit Kat. I see you down there on our screens. Thank you for supporting the NLC.
But either way, Temporal, that has been our games. We've had 3 really solid games, ending it all with a massive banger. But what is your take on what we've witnessed today?
I think today's been a bit special. I've been exhausted IRL. I've had like so much going on. You know, I haven't really kept up with an LC2 as much as I would have liked. And it's been so exciting to come back in, and like the stories we've been telling, they're still going, they're developing, the flavor is still there. You can like pick your favorite team so easily out of here, not necessarily by the results, but like their ability to play the way they want. I think all the games tonight, I've just been like, yeah, turn the plates off. And even without watching that many games, it's like, I know which team this is. This is a slight spin on their gameplay, and that's really exciting. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, it's been a banger. It's been a good day, and we are not done yet for this week. We have a lot more games left to play, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. Friday, we'll be having a stream. I believe there are 4 games listed to watch. We'll obviously give you any updates tomorrow if anything does change. But for now, we are going to say good night. Shout out to Casual Q, as always, our producer. Shout out to all the teams, and shout out to you, Temporal, as well. Good night.